Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 354 of the Fans of Power podcast.
Brilliant.
I'm Nathan Kennedy, joined here by Tyler T-Rex Baker, star of the live-action Master Universe film. Paul Flundren is here, Rebecca McDonald, a.k.a. Newt, and in the absence of Joe Amato and Ren McKenzie, representing the old man contingency, the old ball and chain himself, John McDonald. He's back to join us on this very, I'm going to say, special episode. One thing I want to throw out there at the very beginning of this, and I put it in our live chat, is the subject matter here for this episode is sensitive to some people. So given what you see here and how we've been and how we've treated, you've watched the show long enough, most of you have, to know kind of how we're going to approach the subject matter, but it is a sensitive thing. So if it's kind of not your cup of tea, this might be one that you want to skip. I'm going to put that out there now. He's very pensive. He is paying attention. He's hanging on my every word. Just look at him there. How's everyone doing?
Good. Very
I'm just
good.
honored that Dolph was willing to come back and talk to us again. You know,
Yeah.
It's,
It was unexpected.
all of us this time. So obviously, I must have made an impression. You know, they were willing to come back for free. We didn't have to pay him or nothing. He just showed up.
Kind of wonder what his fee would be for something of this magnitude.
Oh, God.
You know,
I thought it was going to be the oldest person here.
Now that I think about it, yes, Dolph is here also representing.
Yeah.
There's union rules.
Yeah,
there's rules that say that like Fans of Power has to have at least one old guy.
I kind of feel like that.
I guess it kind of would be, you know, when Joe's not here, Ren's here. When Ren's not here, John's here, and you know, so it's just kind of, you know, but it's nice that we just have like this ever growing, you know,
roster
faction that is a part of this community that we have so humbly started. Is just getting bigger and bigger, so much that Dolph Lundgren has now joined Fans of Power. You know, we don't know how. Dolph, can we get you to come back in the future? Is that a possibility?
Got more money.
He's speaking his native tongue there. That accent of Dolph's.
Swedish.
Yeah. Yes. It's like he says Swedish. Say it again there, Deucen.
Swedish.
Oh man, but yeah, it'll be fun to tackle a very I don't know if it'd be very divisive or controversial, because I figured anybody who's listened to our podcast knows, like, you like He-Man and you don't want anybody trashing He-Man, and we're here to go after the people who were the earliest trashers of He-Man before VH1 came along and said He-Man was a Well, we all know
Before-
it became a
VH1 and Kevin Smith. And
Kevin Smith, and
David.
Rob David,
people
Ted
like
Biaselli, all those and the asshole responsible for that fucking meme.
Oh yeah, the what's the name of that song?
What's going on? Some
Yeah.
shit like that. Yeah.
I never even thought that was funny to begin with.
It wasn't funny. It was just stupid and lame, and everyone just rolls right along thinking it's funny. So
They made an action figure out of it.
I'm
Right.
still pissed off at Super 7 for doing that shit.
I imagine it sold pretty well.
I don't know if it's still available or not. God, I hope not. Didn't Joe buy one of those?
I don't know.
He always wants to buy shit that pisses me off.
You're talking about the Prince Adam meme, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, where he's
Yeah.
singing.
Well,
this
it came with the head. I threw it away, but
You
the
bought
Super
it?
7 No, the Super 7 He-Man that I got. He came with different heads, and the laughing one was one of them. I didn't get the laughing Prince
Oh.
Adam. I know that was
Okay.
its own figure, but it came with the laughing head. So I
I
don't
was
know.
say, John, where were you when she made this purchase? Like, shouldn't you be watching how she spends her money? Or?
It's her money.
Okay.
she
Oh,
wants.
so you guys have that kind of marriage, huh? No. I guess that's progressive for you. They're woke and shit.
Or,
Or John's woke in today's modern, excessive, progressive world, right? Right, John?
You're forgetting I'm Jewish, so I don't keep separate bank accounts. Like that's her money. This is my money.
Emily and I are the same way. I don't like honestly, I don't like the idea of a joint bank.
money divides people too much. I don't want
Yeah.
us to share like money. That gets weird.
Well, you just run into that whole thing of, let's say I go and buy a PlayStation 5. We have a joint account, which turns into a thing.
Exactly.
Why did you spend that much of our money?
Exactly.
Well, all right.
Also, when we're getting each other gifts, like when I got you that Yamato model kit, you're like, why is $300 missing from the bank account? Or like when you got me Mondo, I'm like, oh, he got me Mondo because I can see $400 missing from the bank account.
I have received message from one Mr. Amato. I didn't buy that laughing Adam. Someone sent it to me. I put it in the crawl space.
Sure.
And you accepted it. And I'm sure he did an unboxing video knowing what it was and was just, this is great. This is wonderful. I've never received such a wonderful thing in my life.
He probably appreciated that more than the shit that I've sent him or Rebecca sent him, and he was just like, oh, okay, that's nice. Where's the food?
Yeah, he probably appreciated that more than that Bubblicious commercial from the 80s that I sent him that I paid to have that put on tape for him. And because you didn't do that for free? Like, no, I had to pay for that. Oh, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he put it in the crawl space, and if anybody's watched those like haunted item TV shows, where it's like they have like this haunted doll or book or chest or whatnot. It's like if Joe's house is ever haunted and he's wondering what's going on, it's because of that.
Is it haunted? I'm sure whatever
figure.
body that died next to that figure is going to inhabit the body of that.
Plural. Come on.
Well, yeah, but I'm sure there's one particular body next to that laughing Adam that's going to embody. It's like a Brad Dourif in Child's Play. Nathan, you know all about that.
Yeah,
it's going to put her soul in the body of that laughing, Adam, and I don't know. Joe's going to sell it to somebody for like a quick, package of hot dogs or some shit like that, and and then this poor family just want to make a quick buck, or I don't know. Honestly, someone who's willing to buy that piece of shit, do you really want to know them anyway? I mean, come on, as a He-Man fan.
That's a good point.
I mean, you have already labeled yourself as you're one of those casual, generic He-Man fans who gets so involved with the social media aspect.
They're so much of a fan that they're completionists and have to collect everything.
Yeah,
I was going to say that. Yeah, they have to have everything.
Yeah, it's I respect that with certain properties. Like if you're a vintage Star Wars collector, everything vintage, I can respect that. If you're anything vintage, but if you're just everything. I mean, especially today's Star Wars collecting.
With all the all the shit that's coming out, all the Funko Pop, aka landfill material.
Yeah.
It's. I can't imagine getting everything. Like there was a time where I was getting everything She-Ra, but fuck that now because there's a bunch of Funko Pops and shitty action figures.
A lot of poor, lousy artwork. Like anybody can do.
Yeah.
Bad He-Man She-Ra artwork and slap it on a T-shirt and like, oh, I gotta buy it. It's on there. And
a bunch of us were that way. I mean, with Star Wars stuff, but how many Luke Skywalker figures can you get? How many Obi-Wan figures can you get?
Well, remember
you know?
that Star Wars wasn't as bloated as it is now. It didn't
Mhm.
used to be as bloated as it is now.
That's true.
There was a period of time where like the late '90s, early 2000s, which they were really like, oh well, let's make the Wolfman that we see in the canteen.
Yes.
Or let's make it's like, okay, cool, we're getting figures we never saw before. That's fine. But the trouble is it's been 20 plus years since then, and they just keep regurgitating the same thing.
I even called that out when they were releasing characters that were way in the background that the camera really never focuses on. I thought, okay, I love Star Wars, but I'm like, this is a bit much. Like, I have no desire to buy this random character sitting out of, basically out of frame, in Empire Strikes Back, in Cloud City. I'm like, I don't need the Force security guard walking with Lobot. I don't need him.
You
Right.
don't want the guy that carried the ice cream machine.
Oh yeah,
Not
that is such
particularly.
a popular cosplay.
Is it because he's black?
He's stealing the ice cream.
I guess just because Ren's not here doesn't mean you got to fill in for that trash man role there, Doosan.
Yes, you're racist.
Yeah.
Well, Tyler, if you're not getting that character, you're just not a true fan. What can I say?
Yeah.
Exactly. You're a phony fan.
And actually,
I
it's
guess
kind of it's
so.
kind of funny though how Tyler has sort of flipped the script on that, because going back to the whole thing that we've mentioned when we're all attending PowerCon here in mid-August, get your tickets, book the hotel. It's almost filled up. I think it was 25% the last I saw. It may be done now, but
But the thing is to let people know if they're interested in going. So I'll try to use my hands to illustrate this. So like, here's the convention center where the convention is going to take place. Directly across, connected by a sky bridge, is the Hilton, and then connected by another sky bridge, I think, sky bridge, or definitely the sidewalk, there's the Hyatt. So you have several hotels within walking vicinity.
Yeah.
I mean, really close walking vicinity.
so if those get booked up, you can go and get you another one that's close by. But going back to, I bring this up because Tyler, with the 2000X line, this is a guy that's buying everything, no matter what, loose and in box. So Tyler was at one point that type of collector.
Yeah. I think the last thing I put on layaway was the He-Man comforter. I put it at Walmart, and I thought $35 was like, oh my god, I got to put this in layaway. And I put down like a down payment of like $4, and I never went back and finished paying it off. So.
Oh, that disappoints Dolph
I know,
there.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Dolph. I know. Trust me, if it was a live-action movie comforter, I would have mowed more lawns. I would have, gotten a job at that point or something like that.
See, that made him happier.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, by God, someone needs to put like a print on Redbubble of like the live-action motif, like that you could put in like a comforter. Like I have that Silverhawks blanket. Like we need the Drew Struzan artwork on a blanket or something like that.
I know Toy Snobs did one, I believe.
And you bought it, and you didn't tell me about it, right?
No, I didn't buy it.
He
Like
leaves,
the
goes to
t-shirt.
his bedroom, comes
I-
back.
The
I
special
do.
Yeah.
edition T-shirt
Yeah,
that you wore
because
last
he
week.
likes to buy shit that I can't afford or
Mhm.
wasn't aware of it, and then tell me about it after the fact.
After the fact. Yep.
Yeah.
Look at this thing they were only selling for 24 hours. I picked one.
Yeah, it was
up
on this really
myself.
obscure website. They only meant like 4 at a time, and
Sorry,
but they're all
man, I
backward
forgot
right now.
about you.
Yeah.
But one thing that is readily available, if you guys want to, link down below. Go pick this up. This is from the Shitty Montana mini comic. Joe put that design on a t-shirt. So if you want to support Joe, send some extra bucks. Click that link below. Do that.
Extra bucks.
Extra bucks.
They
Yeah.
only send you like $2.
I know. So you guys are gonna have to go buy like thousands of shirts.
Yeah.
Make it worth his while.
And support Ren, because I'm wearing
Yes.
his Sectars villains
Nice.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got Skulk, Skeeto, Waspex, and General Spydrax on the shirt there. So
Oh, yeah.
they've
Yeah.
never looked more badass. We'll just put it that way. So
So what are the catchphrases for the show? I was talking to Newt about this. I said, okay, the fans of Power have 2 catchphrases. One, you're a phony fan. And 2,
okay.
that's badass.
It's badass.
Yeah, the badass part. Yeah, I guess that it would be one of our, at least my catchphrase. Are you talking about my catchphrase or as a group?
Like as a whole,
Oh, as a
'cause you-
whole. Oh,
like
yeah.
because it's
I say badass a
contagious.
lot.
Yeah.
I'll say badass a lot, and I can't even tell you how many times I've said it day working on John's costume. Like, oh, that's badass. He's like, that's your guys' fucking catchphrase.
It is us, but it's good to know. Hey, we have a catchphrase. You know, it's good to hear that kind of stuff. We don't get that kind of feedback from people. What the hell's wrong with you, listeners? Why don't you tell us that? You know, like it's morphin time and shit like that. You know, like it's certain things you expect to hear. You know.
Could be worse. At least it's a decent catch.
Yeah.
True.
I guess so. I'm just calling them out for not being more. What's the word? I'll come to me.
I don't know.
I'll trash them later. There'll be more time for that.
Look at our cat. See how
Look how
neat
fat he
our
is.
cats are.
Look at the butthole, John. Look at it.
Our cats
Oh,
are
John-
so neaty.
John will be cheesing here on the podcast.
Oh yeah, like the
And dunking
South
a
Park.
pee in his face. Yeah.
Well, what a perfect segue. Before we move
Yeah.
any further, I'll say hello to all the people that have joined us live. We have Zentron, My Buddies Customs, Will Timpson, Febmon, Rebel Wookie, Papa Hut 69, Brian Brummagem. I'm scrolling. Casey Duncan, Zentron, Dolph's into it. Dolph's loving it.
I know.
Johnny Cock, Lacey Dean, Casey Duncan. Don't know if I already said that already. Thompson Hereford Farm. I'm scrolling. Jenny K is here. MC DJ ACDC. Pauric is here. I'm scrolling. JSP. And I'm sure others will pop in.
You should just
I miss
name
ya.
names.
I
Just like-
apologize.
Just
Toki-
make a list
Toki
of
Death
names.
Nuts is here.
Exactly. Yeah. And just keep
Yeah.
it going for like 10 minutes and just like.
Yeah, I
And then
couldn't.
people are like, I don't see. Where's he reading that? Who is that person?
I have my own special chat.
George Washington Carver.
Yeah, we're inflating the chat room. Like, oh my god, we're really popular
What?
tonight, and it's
Yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah.
You know,
There's an AEW pay-per-view going on. Man, and people are
and
watching
people, and
us.
people, yeah, they're just saying, fuck Tony Khan, man. They're coming here to watch us.
Yeah. Here is a question from Lacey Dean in regards to PowerCon. I haven't seen anything yet, but John and Newt, you guys probably know better than any of us with PowerCon. When do tickets typically, there we go on sale?
Shoot, I can't even remember when the tickets.
It's got to
go on
be pretty
sale.
soon, right? I would say
Yeah.
probably later this month or April, I would think.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, I think normally they do, and I'm speaking by like most conventions, they'll
Val,
do
if
like
you're watching, text me and tell me.
yeah,
Yeah.
they do like discounted ticket sales like way early, you know, like the
Mhm.
early bird kind of thing, and we'll do that,
I'm looking
and
at
then the price will like hit its peak, you know, usually what like a month, 2 months before. So
Yeah.
I'm guessing probably April or so they should start going on sale, and
Yeah.
that's usually like an early bird type situation. I don't know.
Is that
Soon
just to
enough.
get into the convention, or like for the exclusives and all that stuff?
That's just to get into the convention, and then
Okay.
when it comes to that, that's kind of like a first come first serve. You'll see like a whole bunch of people lined up outside the door, and like they'll beeline straight towards whatever they're going after. You know, if they want to get like Formo toys or Mythic Legion,
tickets will be up
whatever it
for
might be.
pre-sale on March or April. That's all it said.
Okay. So
March or
soon
April.
enough, Lacey Dean. It will happen.
Keep checking back to the website for more information.
Yes. And there's also a Facebook group, the one that I'm in. I think all of us are in it. It's the
Mhm.
PowerCon 2023 chat group. So you can search for that and join up, and that will.
Yeah, they show off some of the exclusives in there. Where you get
Yes.
kind of sneak peeks of what the different toy companies are going to be bringing, and I think Mythic Legions has already like posted 2, maybe 3 things of what they're bringing. There's like a really cool demon guy that's got a translucent blue head. He looks awesome.
Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
actually, now that you bring that up, I'm in here. I'll go ahead and put this on screen. Because I was going to kind of ask, hey, you guys, anything new? Anybody pick up anything? So this is kind of like a good segue to get people excited about PowerCon. Got it uploading here. There we go.
There,
So
sorry,
cool.
translucent green. Sorry.
That's so
Yeah,
cool.
beautiful green. I do believe that is a bit occultish there, if I do say so myself.
That's appropriate. Right there.
Yeah, Mythic Legions has a bit of an agenda there. They're trying to corrupt us, I guess, as fans.
That
And
is-
I will gladly give my money into their communion plate there. You know,
Not to sound mean, but do you think that like Robert Zagar's skull looks like that?
that doesn't sound mean. Why? Of course, it looks like that.
Because he's got like a big old jaw. And
I mean, and it's almost like it's. I don't know. Like, I'm not sure Deuce can come up with like a great word to describe Zadar's like chin, how it kind of
that's
protrudes
the
out
condition
and all.
known as cherubism.
Is that what it is?
Man,
Okay.
I was like, oh, he passed away recently, but that was all the way 2015. It didn't seem like it was that far back, but I guess.
Yeah,
Oh,
when
wow.
celebrities die,
Crazy
it's
that
like
Pitt
it's a time warp.
2015 was
You're like,
that
oh,
long
Bill
ago.
Paxton, that was yesterday. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a few years ago. And if people are wondering what Robert Zadar and what we're kind of talking about, there you
Yeah. I mean, look at that chin.
Like
Yeah.
you're an asshole, John.
very distinctive facial features.
Yeah.
For
If you
sure.
want to see some of his work, check out Soul Taker or Future War or Tango and Cash.
Maniac Cop.
Man,
Yeah, I love
Maniac
Maniac
Cop.
Cop. That's a good one.
he was also
No, I
in yeah. Did you already say Samurai Cop? Did someone
Yes.
already say that? Okay. Sorry.
I was running all the cops. Werewolf
the
Cop,
cops.
Samurai Cop, Hot Fuzz.
Samurai Cop's a good
Time-
one.
Wasn't Ty Cop Red Letter Media's?
No,
Space
it was
Cop.
Space Cop. Space Cop.
Space
Space
Cop.
Cop, yes.
Time Cop, I think, was a real one.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a Van Damme vehicle. Yeah. Based
Oh
on a
yeah,
comic
yeah,
book.
yeah. Van Damme,
I guess
sorry.
we never asked.
With Mia
you,
Sarah.
Are you a Van Damme fan at all, or is it, or is it pretty much just stops at Arnold? And
It
Dolph?
stops at Arnold and Dolph. No.
Okay. So
No,
Van
I've seen Van Damme stuff, mostly from like my dad watching it. Is what
Okay.
I remember those, and I liked the Street Fighters movie when I was a kid. So
Yeah.
Yeah, the best live action G.I. Joe movie we've gotten to date.
Yeah. We will never get another better one. I'm sure John
Yeah.
will concur. Deucin, you guys agree?
Yeah.
Dolph, I'm talking to you.
I think he fell asleep.
Maybe.
I guess he's thinking about it.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't think he's ever. Maybe he's never seen it.
Do you guys ever like watch
Not-
stuff? While we're talking about like Jean-Claude and also Robert Zadar and other physical deformities, we were watching something and we're like,
John Claude.
What-
Oh yeah.
like
I
what
know.
is that lump on
Oh,
Jean-Claude's forehead?
Yeah.
So I'm like, Google, what is that? Like,
He told me that, and I'm like, I never noticed a lump on his forehead.
Van
like, it's
Damme.
right there.
How did you Google search? Were you just like Van Damme head lump?
Yeah,
Yeah, pretty much.
that's what he wrote.
So it was a cyst. He had a cyst.
Because we
There.
were watching something with him in it, and you were like, "This was before his lump." And I
Yes.
was like, "What do you mean his lump?"
I guess I've never
Yep.
noticed that. I'm like, and
Same. I didn't
I'll look
notice
it up
it either.
now.
God,
So- yeah, he's got
He had a cyst in Street Fighter.
Hmm.
all right.
I just never noticed it.
What?
So the thing is, it was there, it developed, and then he got famous, and he's like, well, I'm famous now. I'm not going to bother with it because it's, I guess, kind of
There
my
you go.
look. Yeah. There it is.
Okay.
But aren't
I guess-
cysts, like, easy to
I guess
pop
that-
and
yeah.
get rid of? I would
Yeah.
pay to pop that thing on his
What?
head. Sorry.
Well,
The
it
thing
ain't
is,
like
Oh, yeah?
squeezing
Oh,
a big
yeah.
pimple
Oh.
there. Is
No,
his
I-
hairline is like right there. They could make an incision at the hairline and then start further up from it and go in and remove it.
Mm.
Wow. Yeah, I've never noticed that. Now I'm like, holy shit! Now I won't be to watch anything without seeing that big pimple on his head.
That's the trouble. For the longest time, I'm like, what is
Oh, great. Now you
How
really.
was that
You know,
not noticeable?
that? Thank you.
I'm watching
Thank
the
you.
action going on and like the charisma. I'm not looking at what kind of.
Well,
you know.
Newt's looking at the bulge in his pants, not his forehead.
Yeah, she's not the bulge on the forehead. Yeah.
Look at the other lump, not that one.
Yeah.
John's
I
trying
imagine
to
John,
cover
like
her
when they're
eyes.
watching movies together, she's constantly had to lean over and like tip her chin up, like all the time they're watching like action films. You know.
His eyes are up
Well, I do
here.
the same with him.
Honey,
whenever
the action's
there's a
up
hot
here.
chick on the screen. So
And
her
then you're
eyes
going
are
over, like,
there, John.
Exactly.
I can just picture now John busting into the bedroom and she's got it paused where you just see let's say she's watching Dolph's Punisher movie, right? And that part where you see
Where
like
he sees balls.
where you see his balls, she's got it paused. And then when he opens the door, she turns around like that kid in Heavyweights with the fucking burger, and it's just
yeah. Where did you find this movie? I found, I was like, quick, get help, John.
Oh god.
Trying to find an image of that kid being called.
Oh, I thought you said Dolph's balls.
I was trying to find an image of Dolph's balls. Dolph, can you provide that for us?
Yeah, I'm not going to put that. Yeah. Sorry, we're going to change the subject to.
Hey, thought that was a good one. There.
Fantastic.
Kid put off a good one.
Great male nudity in cinema. We're going to do a tier list of male nudity in cinema.
Yeah.
We're changing the topic right now.
And Rebecca's going to lead us off. Who had the best ass and the best bulge and all that stuff?
He's got a great ass.
Yeah.
Like Ewan McGregor from Train
Spotting.
Yep.
I never saw Train Spotting.
Now you want to watch it? You're like,
I
Ewan McGregor.
You got a Jones for Ewan McGregor?
No, not really.
I like the way John said that. Ewan McGregor's penis.
Oh, does he like show everything in it?
Yeah.
Well, he goes to a club and he has like sex with this chick that he just met, and then like she forces him out. So he's like in the hallway trying to put on his clothes, and he's like pulling off the condom at the same time. And there's like
Ew.
There's
nothing left to be
it's just flopping around there. And you hear like the condom snap. Yeah. Oh.
Could you imagine like the sound editor like looking for the perfect sound?
Yeah.
Like, oh wait, no.
I picture like the guy who does the sound work for all of Lucas's movies. What's his name? I forgot what. Yeah, this is what I've been.
I've won an Oscar before, right?
I mean, never mind the sound editor. What about the guy who had to edit the footage to go through all those takes?
Yeah.
No, which one? This one has not enough shadow. This one's got too much shadow. We got to,
how many takes it took?
Yeah.
And like, so Ewan McGregor would go into the room before they yell action. He's like, okay, give me about 10, 15 seconds to get ready. Ready?
Yeah.
And then yell action. And he's like, oh, okay. It's like back and forth.
Get it hard just enough that way.
Hard enough.
Just hard enough that way when it's starting to get flaccid again, it's still pretty big.
Yes. For believability.
He watched Edward James Olmos and Wolfen for inspiration.
Stop, it's too big.
How about this? Jeff Goldblum in The Fly.
Exactly.
How about Jeff Goldblum in Death Wish?
Oh yeah. He gives up one of the most funniest lines, like "I hate rich cunts," and just starts smacking her around there.
My favorite Jeff Goldblum movie
Not
is
just
Buckaroo
that, but
Banzai.
because it's his like first role.
Yeah,
it is.
He has a scene where his ass is right in the camera.
I just love hearing Deucin describe that like it's haunting that he saw Goldblum's ass.
He's going through like a traumatic thing. He's explaining like the writing the report.
He's like Nicolas Cage watching 8mm.
Charles Bronson, not his ass.
Charles Bronson.
What would be more offensive to you, Deucin, seeing Charles Bronson's ass or more of Jeff Goldblum's ass?
Bronson.
Do you want to traumatize me?
What traumatized me was seeing Willem Dafoe's ass in The Boondock Saints. I was not wanting that. I was wanting to see that.
By the way, did you notice that they keep castrating Arnold in Terminator movies?
Mm-hmm.
Every re-release of the first and second movie, they make sure that nothing is shown.
I didn't.
I shouldn't be surprised about.
I mean, Rebecca, of all of us, should know for sure what changes have been made.
Yeah, the pervert.
Hey, I could see more of his balls there.
No,
Remember
John,
Splash?
get it away.
You got to get in here.
Remember Splash when you watched Splash on Disney Plus?
That pissed me off. See, it's not just like a male nudity. I know it's female nudity too. In Splash, where they edited hair on her butt to like cover her butt, and I'm like,
hair on her butt. Oh God.
They like made her hair longer.
Her hair from her head.
CGI, like
they gave her ass hairs. Oh my God.
I'm like, God, it's like what? Just don't play the move. If you're gonna go that far with it.
The first scene where she jumps off the dock and you see her butt, like they closened up on it. But the scene where she's like running
Harold
back
Anna.
when she's running back into the water, it's like CGI hair and it looks so bad. I'm just like, oh God.
I keep thinking
Why am I
she get this like random patch of like guess butt pubes or something like that. Just it was
She's
like
got like furry underwear. Like she's She's a
like
cave woman. She
like
came back from a
Garfunkel's
Halloween party.
ass on, her head on her ass, just oh god, it's just weird.
How about this?
Boy, for a show about religion, we really took a really
hey man, I think
Welcome to fans of nudity.
yeah.
How about this from Lacey Dean? How about the team that had to make Dr. Manhattan's giant blue dogs?
Juice.
Oh, sorry,
yeah.
John. Can you imagine that though? It's like, do what?
The penis, the CGI penis, it's bleaching. We have to redo it.
Could you imagine those meetings? Like when they're sitting there watching,
Yeah.
they're like, okay, what do you think about the size? Are we in agreement? Like how?
Do we
But
have
is
to
this gonna be
3D
offensive for
scan it?
That was
audiences?
the thing in Superman, because with Christopher Reeve Superman, because they put a thing in him because he has his little red shorts.
Yeah.
And they would be like, "That's too big, but you can't have that." And I'd be like, "Okay, well, if he doesn't have something in there, you really see him." So they were like, they had different sizes for it. And,
I mean, how about Burt Ward? Like,
I was gonna say Burt Ward.
Burt Ward's
Batman.
They made him drink some pills that shrunk it.
yeah.
He was known as Burt Wad. Yeah.
Damn. That's something we should have fucking asked him, Tyler. When we
Yeah,
met.
he just gave me like a very canned, like, dude, I've heard this exact same story so many times in interviews, and he looks around like, I'll tell you something that most people don't know. I'm like, and he tells me a story that he's told everybody. And I thought, God, man, dude, really? At least Adam West, joke with me about, oh, you got a real job, you're not doing this.
Hey, Tyler, follow me to the bathroom. I want to show you something.
Shows me his I'll be the ward to his wad.
No,
Come
this
on,
is why he
touch
was
it.
known as Boy
Touch
Wonder.
Yeah.
God. Shit.
That was like the last decent. Well, that was the same experience that Alan Oppenheimer got really ugly with me. Was when we met Batman and Robin.
Alan Oppenheimer wanted to show you his penis.
Yeah, that's what happened, Deucin. Erica had good reason to say he wasn't very nice to you.
Now we know where the trauma came from.
Yeah, the Lord of Deconstruction. Yeah.
Oh, jeez. So when Bert tells you, "Hey, I'm going to tell you something I never told anyone," and proceeds to tell you the story, how much fake enthusiasm were you giving off?
Well, I'm like the minute, like I could tell, like he was just like phoning it in. I'm like, gosh, the same damn stuff.
Measure it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to be rude, and there was a line behind me there, so.
That's nice. Well, thank you for your time.
I appreciate that. I'm like, fuck. Now I'm just, that's it. It was just very uneventful. It was a very, very depleting first day at that convention. After, well, not so much that. That was kind of forgettable. I was like, gotta meet Skeletor, and then the cast of Fright Night got all weird and shit like that.
The entire cast?
Well, no, just Chris Sarandon and William Ragsdale, like, were, odd.
What was the Ragsdale one? I know about Chris Sarandon because this was the Cross deal, right? And he was
the Cross deal. Yeah, he didn't want to do it. Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you did this in the fucking movie. Why does it matter?
Yeah. I'm sure he probably would have thought.
It's like poetry.
It's like poetry, so that it rhymes, Yeah. Just like what our podcast. I figured, like, if he takes a picture of me holding a cross and he puts his hand out like he's crushing it like he did in the movie, I could post it and say, hey, Chris Sarandon doesn't like Christianity. Look at this picture. or some weird shit like that.
I guess
pointing at me. What did I do?
Yeah.
I guess from that standpoint, maybe I understand why he would be weird about it, because maybe he was thinking ahead.
Yeah.
What if this asshole does
which is
this?
probably but I'm like, of course, we met him before. He was a sweetheart of a guy. Not that he was I wasn't gonna expect him to remember us, from like 4 years ago, but his approach just seemed different when I was like, can we reenact, like, for the picture? And he's like, no, I'm not doing that.
Do you ever feel like you're just asking these people like the weirdest thing? Like maybe it's what you're asking of them. Maybe.
Do you feel weird when you ask Burt Ward about his penis?
Yes.
Well, looking back at now that you mentioned, I did feel weird asking that. Like
Chris Sarandon, Crus's crush, or like Alan Alan Oppenheimer, like, here, I want you to say this, and it's like the entire.
paragraph.
It's like 407 years ago, our forefathers. Like, I'm not gonna fucking say all that.
Asshole. All right, Vulcan Jew, I won't be talking to you like this. Where's that autograph? It's around here somewhere. He did it for money, so why couldn't he do it for my money? Not to mention, I bought an original 27x41 Secret of the Sword poster.
There's plenty of space there.
Plenty of space, and he writes Skeletor down here at the bottom with no little to no effort. And then I bought a picture with him, another autograph by him, and he did not want to take the time to say, come face me, him and Power Against Power on a nice 8x10 print on the back that I took from the back of the VHS with Skeletor holding the cordite over the fire. That was the image I had him autographed. He didn't want to do it. I spent
But he did it for somebody else,
he did it for somebody else. Yeah,
you catch all these people at the wrong time.
He just showed up. Like he wasn't even at his table when we got there initially.
No, I mean like their mood, or like their frame of mind or whatever.
Off, doing voices because I was all stuttering and stammering like, oh my god, it's
He's Mel Blanc.
Yeah, he was doing like these Mel Blanc, like that kind of thing. And so he was like goofing off and carrying on with me. Okay, I'll write Skeletor really tiny on this. Okay, you want this? You want a picture? What? You want me to write what? I can't do that. And then I just shrunk down like Doug Funny, like, I gotta go now. So no, John, I do not feel like I was asking him a very simple-minded question. Could you mind writing this on there for me for $80?
Can you sign my chainsaw?
Chainsaw?
No, these stories are awful.
I think that, man, $80 of my money I could have spent on other stuff, just on Alan Oppenheimer stuff. Okay? Like, I went and had that print made. I bought the poster in advance. I didn't bring a fucking DVD that I just bought that just came out 2 weeks ago. Oh, I'm such a fan. Will you sign this for me?
Make it out to eBay.
Yeah. It's like the man could not see.
Fucking pissed about it. I love it.
Imagine if Alan Oppenheimer was having a stroke at the time and he was doing the and the Tyler was all like, what dick? He wants to sign my poster.
I'm like, man, I'm the guy that took out Skeletor. I am He-Man!
Yeah! Holy shit.
Yeah!
What was the Ragsdale thing? What was he weird about?
Because after the awkward session with Chris Sarandon, I go right next door to William Ragsdale's table. And I could have sworn you were with me. Eric is standing there with me. So it was three of us.
I feel like there was a plot. I feel like Nathan was going over to the table.
Yeah, I think Nathan went ahead of you and like paid them. Be like, "Hey, fuck with this guy."
No, I was too depressed from a breakup.
I was gonna say, so Nathan kind of went with me and Erica for a bit, and then he kind of went and did his own thing. So
I had to go be sad for a while.
Yeah, and then I went and got really sad and ate like an inflating pizza too, because of all these shitty experiences I was having in the same evening. So
like messing with you guys.
Oh God! But Williams, just sitting there playing on his phone, and one of the co-stars, the guy who plays Chris Sarandon's, butler or was next to William Ragsdale. No one's at his table, and William's just sitting there, just still playing on his phone. There's no one else but me and Erica at the table waiting to like say hello to him and get his autograph, and he's still playing on his phone. Doesn't even look at me, doesn't acknowledge my presence. And the guy said, "Hey, you got people right here, William," and it was just,
yeah,
and it was a very
disappointing when that happens.
You're like, "Hold on, I'm playing Candy Crush."
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck he was doing. Then I asked him about, being on Curb Your Enthusiasm, and it was almost like he was embarrassed to admit that he like played a gay character that was hitting on Larry David, like wanting to look at his balls on the show or something like that.
Hey, you brought it right back around. I see what you did there.
It's all back. It's like poetry, so it rhymes.
We were talking about male
genitalia.
Yeah.
Good job. Good job.
So after that, like we went back to the room. Like, what have we done? I'm like, I want to go home. So I went and had like a big pizza, and I went back down. What met Flat Top himself, William Forsythe. He treated me like gold. He was awesome. But still, it was very deflating. Like, oh my God, like, and we still got tomorrow to meet Vernon Wells, the Crypt Keeper. The next day was better, but I was like, you know what? I'm not doing this shit anymore. We're not doing this. I'm not doing this. You're not getting my money anymore. I'm not hyping myself up so I can tell these
Conventions.
people how much I appreciate your work, how much your movies meant to me, and I just want to shake your hand and just ask you one question that you probably don't get asked a lot. You know, it's not enough for these people. It ain't enough. The fact they want $50 for an 8x10 of a shitty photo. If you bring something, it's like $90. It's
Isn't that
$100 for
weird?
a poster.
Isn't that
Yeah.
bizarre? Like their pricing system is like what? I don't get
You're
it.
bringing
don't
your
know
own
until you
shit
get up
and you
there.
have to pay more.
Yeah, and you
And
get
then
up
you're
there.
awkward being like, oh, that's too much. I don't want to pay you $20 for your autograph. But then you're like,
Yeah,
I
so it's
have to
almost
because
like-
I just looked you in the eye. It's you can't say no. Duncan,
No.
leave your dad alone.
Yeah.
He's attacking.
Kick his
Okay,
ass, Seabass.
I'm done talking about that shit. I feel like I've done it so many times on this podcast.
No, I love it. I love these stories. But see, Tyler, this is where you have
Excuse
to
me.
take it upon yourself to not be an asshole at PowerCon. So you got to treat all the people that come to us like gold, because you need to remember that all those shitty experiences that you had, you got to flip the script.
That's true. That's
Who
true.
else
Well,
had that
I'm sure I'll
experience?
probably have
feel
that
bad
one
for
person
Tyler
approach me
just
at our
to tell him.
table there. You know,
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of people coming over to me and asking, you know, can I get a picture with you, man? You know, or can I get you an 8x10 or something like that. I just don't see it happening, guys. I really don't. So I don't think I'll have that opportunity to just like play on my phone and say I can't write all that.
You should do it as a joke,
You know?
at least.
Yeah.
What's that?
You should do it as a joke, or
You should actually sign stuff that way. Like I can't write all that.
I can't.
Tyler
That would
Baker.
be great. I would. Now that I would do. I'll write it all damn day on
Like
anything.
stay badass.
Yes, yeah. Oh, that's great. That's great. John, you come over and be my manager. Leave her to do her simple tricks and nonsense and all that stuff over there. You come on over here, you know, and you be my handler. Like, hey, he's not going to write that. That's what Adam West
He's
would
not-
say. Yeah, I would never
Oh,
forget that too.
I'll be your David Spade.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Hey, Tyler, I think I found something over here. The guy says he's got a Jitsu Night Stalker 2-pack that I bought for you in advance. You know, just because you know you guys are that you're that good. So, but yeah, I hope PowerCon won't be anything like that where I'm like, oh my god, Val, I want my money back. You know.
I've not had a bad experience at PowerCon.
Okay.
Other cons. Yes.
Well, maybe you guys did, and I'll get there, and you know. It'll be like a bunch of deuces lining up to tell me, hey, you're wrong about this. I didn't like what you said about that. You know you're wrong about
Phony
that. I just
fan.
want you to know.
I hope
Yeah.
so.
I hope so.
Somebody will go by with an electric like wheelchair and be like, "Phony fan,"
Yeah.
and just keep going.
Nerds.
Oh, yeah. I hope so. I hope Rob Davis shows up and says he
Oppenheimer
hates me.
jerk.
It would be great because I feel like I've made it. You know, people
Exactly.
know me. They hate me.
Exactly.
I love it.
Fuck you, T-Rex.
They hate
Yeah.
me.
It's like I've made it.
They start
And then
throwing
if Rob
bottles.
Davis were to come over and say, "Hey, asshole, I've watched your podcast. I don't like what you've done. You have sullied the good name of Mattel and myself." I'm like, he knows my name. You know? I'd be so excited about that.
How about this from Thompson Hereford Farm? Tyler, will you sign my Origins card backs?
Yeah, why not?
Hey,
I'll
there we
say-
go.
I'll say, hey, this thing sucks. You know, or classics is
And
better. That's what I do.
proteins.
Classics are better. That's what I do. If you give me an Origins, I'll say classics are better, or something like that. You know, or be like what Gary Busey did. Go good. I didn't ask you to write go good, but he did it anyway.
Yeah, but
It's
he can't.
Gary Busey, though.
Yeah, he
It's
can't
not-
help
Yeah,
himself.
I know.
Casey Duncan says Tyler's experience is like holding the door open for someone who doesn't thank you. You wish you could take it back.
A lot of times, yeah.
Well, it's like
And
those
I-
people. It's like those greeters when I go in and they're like, "Hey, how are you today?" I'm like, "Good. How are you?" And then they don't say anything back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Well, fuck you too,
Well,
I guess."
They're only
Yeah.
programmed for that first part.
I
Yeah,
know,
that's
but they should finish it up.
But if I'm going to
Yeah,
hand you,
people are assholes.
you know, money just to, you know, say hello. I mean, I expect to, you know, you want to know my name at least.
You want to look at me? Like I've had
Yeah.
like Carl Urban was like that, where it's just like he wasn't even looking at people. He's just like, "There's your autograph. There's your autograph." I'm
Really?
like, you don't want to ask him a name or like.
You seem like he would be kind of a decent guy.
I think you caught him on a bad day. MegaCon is like that though. Like the celebrities at MegaCon, it's like cattle call. They're like,
Yeah,
okay, you got
yeah,
your print, you get out of here. Okay,
Yeah, you
got your
gotta
print.
keep it
It's
moving.
mostly the people, and I think that their attitudes like rubbing off on people.
And I still
That
feel
was
like
my-
some people. I also feel like too. Some of these people feel like it's beneath them to be at a convention. That means your career is over if you're doing. Even though they're bringing in people now who are currently working and doing movies and shows.
Maybe before, but I think since the convention has blown up, they see the dollar signs involved.
Oh yeah, God, yeah.
Maybe before.
I would
but
hope
now
so,
I don't-
because
now I
it's-
don't think they think that way.
There was an interview on the Graham Norton show, and it had Alan Cumming on there after he did his appearance in X-Men 2, and he made the statement that he was never going to do a convention, and then I guess he decided he went and did one, and he joked because he's like, I got all this money and I just loaded it in the suitcase, and when I got back to my hotel room, he's like, and it's cash. It's like I just threw it all on the bed and I dove through it. And all the other celebrities in that little panel are laughing at him. He's like, no, it's true. It's like you have no idea like what people are willing to throw at you just for your autograph or a photo.
Yeah, and it kind of reaches a point. Tyler, I don't know if you feel like how I'm feeling now about it, but you go back 10, 12 years ago, Tyler and I are ecstatic to meet these people and get them to sign posters and everything. And now I'm kind of in the way that they're just, it's someone's name on a piece of paper. Like, sure, it's cool, but I'm kind of out of that whole thing of really wanting it, because there's some people it would be cool to meet that are coming to some local conventions, but then I kind of talk myself out of it because I'm like, it just doesn't appeal to me as much as it used to.
I mean, we had 3 great years of experiences of going to cons, having great experiences with everybody, getting personable with them. Some of them even hanging out with, like, talking to David Prowse and downstairs, and Darth Vader himself, or things like that. It's or talking to Christopher in the elevator and shaking our hands, and stuff like that. So there's a lot of fun experiences, but and just kind of over it all. Like, it's just not. It just doesn't excite me as much. Even like, oh, this person's going to be there. This person's going to be there. Like, that's great. Yeah, I'm just kind of over it.
Sometimes the best experience is when you catch the celebrity that they're not. They don't have a line, but they're not on their phone or they're not zoned out. They're actually attentive and they're like looking out, and they see you walking by, and they're like, they start talking to you or interacting with you as you're just walking by. You're not even like in their line or anything, and they're like the guy from Space Ghost Coast to Coast. He was that way. Richard Hatch was that way. Where it's like, hey, how's it going? They're like, oh, I love the costumes. Ooh, you look great. Blah 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 blah. And you go over and you start talking to them, and they're examining. Like, it's a different situation for us because we're dressed up, I guess.
Yeah,
but they're examining the costume.
Seeing these random celebrities, like, hey, can I get your picture? I'm like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Blah, blah,
yeah. You guys have that angle. Tyler and I are just like,
it's an icebreaker, I guess. But the most fun is, instead of standing in line with your money in hand, waiting to talk to this person and then being let down because, they're just rubber stamping an autograph and getting you out of there, And the thing is, even though I'm paying them, I still feel awkward as shit because I'm like,
I don't do that. I don't think I ever did that. I know Tyler was like that at the first one, and then over time we both got really comfortable just walking up, because at the end of the day, they're just people.
Yeah, the next day,
they are, but at the same time, I always feel like I'm bothering them, because I put myself in their shoes. I'm like, I don't want to have to deal with all these people.
Yeah,
like I don't want to look at.
Then they shouldn't go. They're getting paid to do that. Like,
true. But I guess I put myself in their shoes, or that's kind of how I would feel, maybe.
Yeah.
But there's always a bit of an awkwardness, and I'm like, I just write anything on this. I don't care.
I'm the same. I'm the same. Where I'm just like, I don't want to bother people.
Well, a lot of times I'm just like, look over there. That's the smoking man from X-Files, And I'm happy to do that, Oh yeah, we're like sneaking pictures of them.
Yeah.
Like, you go stand over there, Becca.
I've seen people get in trouble doing that before. It's like, hey, you can't. We got these photo ops. You want one of them? You got to pay $150.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, holy fuck. No.
There are a lot of experiences like that at Dragon Con because they're big about their photo ops, and you'd run into people, and people, I would never ask for them, but like I'd see other people like, can I get your picture? And they're like, I can't, sorry, I'm contracted while I'm in the hotels. I can't take pictures.
Yeah,
Hey,
Richard Mall did that. Like when me and Nathan went and met him, and he did his Two-Face impression for me. We couldn't do it. We had to pay for the picture. Like I bought the autograph, and I said, "Can we get a picture?" He's like, "No, you got to pay for that." And it was like, I'm like, he did Two-Face for me, and I didn't ask him to do it. So I'm like, you know what? I'll take the autograph and the Two-Face impression and go about my way. So, but
the convention experience. It's got good times to it, and a lot of bad memories
Yeah.
attached to it as well.
You have Elijah Dushku kicking you off an elevator.
Oh, that happened to you? You got Linda
That
Blair?
happened. Huh?
I said you got Linda Blair?
Yeah.
That's
What happened with Linda
that she kicked us off the elevator.
Yeah.
No, Elijah Dushku, and I'll call her Dushku because she's a douche, was kicking people off the elevator at Dragon Con because she wanted her own elevator. So it's just her and her security guy. And he's like, you can't get on this. And you look in there like, Elijah Dushku,
plenty of fucking room, right? Like, I don't get, to me, sure.
And if you've been to Dragon Con, then you know how freaking rare an elevator is and how it's always fucking packed and it's awful.
You'll wait forever for it.
It was for us
too. Elevators are so bad that John and I would rather stay 2 blocks away and walk.
I'll just take the stairs. It's not worth my time.
Yeah, we do that too.
We've done that before in full costume. Like, let's take the stairs.
You get you get those random encounters like taking an elevator with Phil Lamar or taking an elevator and you have the smoking man from X-Files right there. Or he's like, just look over there. He's like right next to you.
Yeah.
Like who is the sheriff guy from Eureka? He was another one. That was the elevator. And again, he's like, oh my God, your costumes are awesome. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, hey, yeah. You having a good convention? Yeah. All right, see you later.
Yeah.
That's always funny when you're in costume too. When I'm like the leprechaun and people are trying to talk to me and I'm just like, hi.
You should use a different voice. Just really throw
I can't do the Warwick Davis leprechaun voice though. I just feel stupid doing it.
We'll just talk like Jodie Foster.
It's just my little Minnie Mouse voice coming out of it.
Oh God.
I am the leprechaun. I'm the leprechaun, my dear.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Or Mae West. Come over and see me sometime or something like that.
That would be. Hey, we'll have to come sometime. We'll take another trip around the world.
Wild. I'm just curious, like, are you guys like watching Silence of the Lambs? She just starts doing Jodie Foster, or like, how does how does Jodie Foster and Mae West become like Newt's like?
I do them in bed for John. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, there we go.
And John's like, well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
He's like, please do Jodie Foster.
Oh yeah, do Jodie
Foster. The most random.
God,
no, I don't know why. I just
Meanwhile, I'm Buffalo Bill.
Oh God.
Oh wait, we're sure we're fat girl.
About a size 14.
Oh, and that's why you guys like to do the impression of him, like throwing the cards in the air. Like when she's like, "Put your hands on the head," and he's like, he does that whole number and then runs off. God.
That is such a good movie, though.
I know.
Role playing in a different sense. They do it at cons. They do it in the bedroom.
I can't even remember why I started. I don't remember why I started doing Jodie Foster or Mae West. I think we do a lot of voices. Those are just like the two I'm good at.
What voices do you do, John? What impressions do you bring to the table?
All kinds of.
Hey, well John, can I do Woody Allen? Yeah, I do Woody Allen, John.
Actually, I do. Who's the character on the cartoon?
Which one?
Rocko's Modern Life. The tortoise friend. The
tortoise friend. Filbert?
Yeah, who was doing a Woody Allen. He's like, hey, Rocco, ask me what time it is.
Yeah, that's Filbert. I could do Bad Bacon. Oh, Edward. Oh, would you tell me what's wrong? So no one knows what I'm talking about, I feel like.
No. I do, but I just douching, this is when you can say that was trash. Because Ren's not here.
Yeah, so someone has to.
More like Bebop.
It doesn't sound like Bebop.
Yes, it did. From later seasons.
He would
So-
know.
so-
He is the expert, after all.
I guess so. He is the watcher of this podcast.
The Watcher.
Yeah, he's got the head. You know, walking
Just-
around in like toga, just telling people. you know,
Just like Burt Ward, man.
yeah, yeah.
Got that big old
Yeah.
head.
He's got a big bulge. It's just upstairs. You know.
Well, you guys want to?
I guess we should talk about devil worship at this
Yeah.
point.
I guess
I
we
was
should.
gonna
We're
say.
an hour
Meanwhile-
into the. For an hour,
Meanwhile,
we've talked about asses and male genitals.
cocks and balls. Let's just talk about
Per-
Satan.
And insists on action stars' heads and shitty con experiences, and you know,
Alan Oppenheimer.
yeah, Alan. Yeah, I feel like he's going to forever be haunting this pot, or haunting me for that matter. I guess.
I'm gonna get some money and I'm gonna pay him to come on and publicly like apologize to you for that experience.
Oh, that would be awesome.
And says Joe's name instead of yours.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Well, technically, my first name is Joe. So,
Yeah, that's
so
true.
actually, so
Oh, that's true.
yeah, so he couldn't get me on that one there, unless he.
Says Joe Amato.
Does
Yeah.
Oppenheimer do cameos? That'd probably be the best way to do it.
Probably.
Just buy a cameo.
Yeah, I think he does.
All right,
He
yeah.
does.
Let's just collectively put in the money, get a cameo, get it set up to just. Be
Let's
like,
do
and this one goes to Tyler.
I love how John's just like randomly on Cameo sometimes. He's like, hey, you know who's on Cameo? I'm like, why are you looking at Cameo?
Well, here's
He's just curious. Like,
so
who's
here's the
on.
funny thing, like it's almost all dudes. It's almost all male performers, actors. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, where are
Yeah, he
all
said
the
this the
chicks?
other day.
And then I'm like, oh, they're on OnlyFans. That's right. Okay, so all right.
That's where the real money is. All right, we're gonna talk. We want to talk about Satan now, right?
Yeah.
Satan.
So Satanic Panic of the 80s. This was I know Dungeons and Dragons, I feel, was the front and center of this, but it also bled out into some of our favorite properties. Now, given that the vast majority of us here were way younger when this was going on, and I'm kind of bummed that Ren's not here too, because I would like to also get his perspective. But John, like you were. What cognizant is that the word I'm looking for? You were present. You know, we were 3, 4, 5 years old. You were a little bit older than us, so you got to see
I was
this.
not born.
No, I don't mean this in a bad way. I don't mean it in a bad way.
You were the same age as Joe.
Yeah. So you
You
guys
were
saw this.
67.
You guys saw this shit like on TV.
No, yeah. And
Okay.
I've told that story a million times about, the neighbor kids across the street were all their He-Man stuff was out by the road because the mom
It hurts my heart.
flipped her switch. And worse yet was, since it was two brothers that lived in that house and they were only about a year and a half apart, they had duplicates of a lot of stuff. There was like 2 He-Mans, 2 Skeletors, 2 this, 2 that, and to see all that stuff in boxes, like, oh well, there's Snake Mountain and there's Castle Grayskull and there's there's the Bashosaurus, there's all this stuff just sitting there in a box. I'm like, and it took me a while to it wasn't until I told my grandmother what was out by the road, and then she kind of explained it, like, oh yeah, their mom's living.
And then she tell you couldn't have them.
And then she told me, and then I'm like, oh well, I'm gonna go get them. And she's like, no, you need to leave them there. I'm like,
So, was this a thing that was this present on TV a lot? Was that being the thing, or was this something that was more community based? Like, I know it had a national platform, but was it something that I'm trying to take myself back to that time, because I think
along the East and West Coast, it probably wasn't terrible. Again, like the Bible Belt and the central United States probably had it more.
Mm-hmm.
And just like with a lot of stuff, you get these guys like that, like the 2 idiots in the one video.
We'll get there.
Talking, and that gets picked up by the evangelicals. And then since the evangelicals had their own stations and their own public airtime and all this other stuff, it then got dispersed from there. And then you had your local church leaders who would then pick up on it. So it was the trickle down effect. It was like, all these different people would latch onto it. And then the next thing you know, you've got moms and you've got, certain administrative people in schools and stuff like that. And you're like, oh, no, Smurfs are evil. Gargamel's a wizard.
Care Bears was evil. Or it's evil. My Little Ponies was evil. I know people who I've heard of. I don't know people, but I've heard of people who had their My Little Pony stuff thrown out and their Care Bear stuff thrown out. The Christians came out with their own Care Bear ripoff that was called Galatian Bears, and it had like little Bible quotes on their bellies, and it's just like, my sister had a couple of them, and they looked drunk, and they looked like they were on drugs because their eyes were all like, they were creepy as fuck.
Yeah.
And if you look at pictures of Galatian Bears, you'll see what I'm talking about. But there's something. They look more demonic than Care Bears, which weren't demonic at all. But that's just crazy to think that something as innocent as Care Bears and My Little Ponies were being labeled as evil, or Smurfs. It's fucking stupid.
It's so we had Ronald Reagan as a president, so the country kind of shifted back towards conservatism. You know, and then the thing was, since the climb of the influence of the church and them being able to get their own airtime and in some cases their entire own channels and stuff like that, they had like the biggest platform ever.
Yeah, that was like
so,
the heyday.
And it's like to find something to blame, to constantly be like, oh, well, we got to be afraid of something at any given time. There's got to be something to fear.
Yeah.
So
I think that's the biggest thing when it comes to any of this stuff is these types of people are afraid of stuff they don't understand. If it makes no sense to them, then it's automatic. This is a bad thing. And I think the closest thing I can come to this topic at hand was remembering the big stink about the little kid that watched Beavis and Butthead and lit their
trailer on fire.
The trailer on fire, and that created that big, huge stink about it. But when it came to cartoons, I don't ever remember. I guess maybe we could go to the Ninja Turtle thing and parents complaining about the weapons, which changed that for the second movie. That's about as far as it goes for me personally. But Tyler might have some stories.
I do specifically remember. It would have been after the first live action Turtles movie came out, but my dad was watching a show on one of the religious channels, and it was a show going after violence in children's programming, and they played He-Man, so they showed the transformation sequence, and then followed that with a clip of the kitchen fight in the first Turtles film. And they were just saying that all this children's for all these things aimed at kids, and I was like, for the first time, I'm like, they're saying He-Man's bad. I think it was in first grade at the time. And of course, I was surprised my dad didn't say, "Oh, well, they're saying this clearly. You can't rent He-Man anymore. You can't go see Turtles again, or you can't play with the toys." So it never had that kind of impact. But that was my first introduction to thinking that people thought that He-Man or the things that I like to watch and reenact and play with were violent, like they were bad for kids.
But it was violence, though. It wasn't. You know.
I didn't hear about
that. That was the '90s, though. The '90s was, we had Power Rangers.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
It was more violence and less like this is evil.
That became
satanic.
That became the new thing to be afraid of.
Yeah.
Especially when it got so popular, because He-Man took off. I mean, it was one of the juggernaut. I guess they weren't offended by Transformers, but I'm sure they're probably bothered by G.I. Joe.
That's
and He-Man.
I'm glad you brought that up. When I posted the link in our Facebook group, there was quite a bit of conversing going on amongst people. I did want to read a couple of these, and then I kind of want to backtrack a little bit to a question John asked Tyler and myself before we went live. So this one comes from Paul Rudman. I went to a Christian school, and the teachers believed a lot of what was preached in this video, and Deception of a Generation is the video was referring to, which we're gonna watch some of that. My fourth grade teacher actually confiscated the He-Man figures I brought to class that day for show and tell, saying they were demonic, and told me I could have them back at the end of the school year. Well, my dad went to the school with me the next day, furious, and I got my figures back that day. So good on the dad.
Yeah.
And then this comes from Nigel Willis, which this is why I'm glad you brought up Transformers. I'll try to make it tonight if I can. The topic hits painfully close to home for me. have you ever watched Clerks 2? The character Elias, whose parents wouldn't let him have anything but Transformers because all of their toys were of the devil. I had a friend like that growing up in Ohio, only without the kind, loving parents Elias had. My pal walked in the doors and fell down the stairs a lot, if you get my drift. Eventually, he got taken away by Child Protective Services and placed with an uncle, and we didn't see him for ages. We saw him again just once, a couple years later, before we moved back to England, and apparently he was thriving and doing quite well. As soon as I got settled into Facebook, many years later, I tried looking him up. Unfortunately, in the intervening years, he seems to have turned to the ultra-right-wing skinhead conspiracy nut down in Florida, who blames absolutely everything wrong in the world on immigrants and non-Christian types, let's call them. And he goes on to say religion is a damn cancer. So I'm going to backtrack to what John asked us, and I'll let him ask it again, and then we'll kind of break down, because I was saying this. I feel like all of us here have varying degrees of how religion was in our lives as kids, and even today, probably. Go ahead.
So it's like a two-parter. How religious were the families that you were brought up in, and did you guys go to Sunday school or religious school or anything like that?
I'll let Tyler.
We went to church pretty much every Sunday. Did go to Sunday school. To me it was, unless I got to talk with friends in Sunday school, I got nothing out of it. It was just going because your parents made you go. I would have much rather stayed home and played games, played with my toys and stuff like that. But I would go out to the car before the sermon started after Sunday school and go get my toys, whether it was GI Joes or Turtles. Take them back inside, sit down on the floor in front of the pew, and reenact battles quietly while the sermon was going on.
And then you caught on fire, and your figures caught on fire.
And I went
so
straight
violent.
to hell for that. Yeah.
Oh God.
No
violence in church.
Yeah. Nobody said anything. In fact, one of the guys used to sit behind us. He would kind of lean over and like, well, who you got here? Like, who's that? Just asking questions like that. So me and my brother would either, if we get it and have toys to play with, we would draw on the envelopes that you would put money in for the collection plate, which was typically drawing turtles on the back of the envelope. That was the extent. That's what we would do. But it was never looked upon that any of the toys we were into, the movies. It was just pretty much the violence and nudity was like the big no. Like sometimes it was okay to watch certain violence, like Predator and Rambo was okay, but watch a Van Damme movie or Steven Seagal, not sure about that. There were so many inconsistencies with it, so you're like, what the hell? Why is this better? But that's not, that kind of thing. But Skeletor was never looked upon as something satanic or many faces or any of the characters. Like it, it was more about, wouldn't you rather rent something else this week instead of He-Man again? It was never thrown in my face or suggested that what I was into was wrong, and that I would want to go and be Julian Sands and Warlock. I'm gonna or some shit like that.
That was a great movie.
I never saw it. I just remember seeing the trailers for it a lot as a kid.
It's a great movie. Well, it's
the first one.
Yeah, we watched it not that long ago, John. That was funny. You put it on, and then all of a sudden, other people were talking about it. I'm like, what's going on? That's weird.
Was church was an every week thing for you, Tyler? We have to go every week.
On a rare occasion, we would either not go or just go for Sunday school and not go to the sermon, and that was exciting. I get to go home and watch Superstars or early today or something like that.
Yep.
That was a big deal if we didn't stay the whole time. So, and it was really it was going to Sunday school. They want you to, like you're at school 5 days a week. You got homework and all this shit. Study for tests, quizzes. You got to present a reading report in front of the class, all that shit.
How long did you continue to go to church? How old were you? Because I know by the time you and I were friends, I don't think you were going every week.
Yeah, no,
still?
I think around the time when I think my parents got divorced, because my dad I think was pushed. Even though my mom liked us going to church too, it was something I think my dad was kind of pushing more for. And then when they got divorced, it actually stopped altogether for a while. Like we didn't set foot in church, and then we went back several years later. and then that kind of fell apart there, and just kind of got to where you make your own decisions about religion and what you're comfortable with and everything. And
Which honestly, since I've known you for as long as I have, that to me that sounds kind of odd because your dad is a very religious person.
Yeah.
And which is kind of that other aspect at some point too. I want to come back to, but I'll transfer over to Rebecca. What about your religious upbringing?
My parents are very religious. My dad was very cool about it. My mom, rest in peace, was more susceptible. She wasn't bad. She just she was very she would listen to the TV a lot. Like if there was a pastor on TV saying this is bad, she'd be like, "This pastor said this is bad," and my dad would be like, "It's okay. It's not. You don't have to listen to this."
That's how my dad was on certain things too. He was very easily swayed by stuff like your mom was too.
Influenced.
Yes,
My mom was like the ideal person for any product placement or anything. She'd see a Burger King commercial, she'd be like, "I want Burger King." So anything the TV was telling her, she'd be like, "Oh, I
Procter and Gamble is the biggest one I remember as a kid. Because they were like, they donate to the Church of Satan. Don't buy their products.
Yes, that was big when I was a kid. It was a lot
early
of
90s.
We didn't get Sunny Delight because it was nasty, and two because my mom was like, "Oh, they support this. We aren't getting that."
Yeah.
So it would be products like, "Oh, I heard this. We're not getting that." And my dad would just kind of roll his eyes at that kind of stuff. He's like, "It's not a big deal." But my dad was very religious, but he was just very I don't know. He's to me the ideal religious person, where it's a personal thing to him.
They keep it to
themselves.
Morals.
Yeah.
His morals are his own, and he likes to tell people. I don't know, but when it came to that kind of stuff, in the 90s when I was a kid, it wasn't Satanic Panic. It was things like that. It was this company supporting abortions, or this company supporting this or that, or I remember one thing complaining about E.T., saying because he was ugly, he was evil, and I was like, that's not a good message.
I've never heard that one before.
And then there was one complaining about a Xena action figure that I had. It was an 8-inch Xena action figure, and I still have it. And when you take her, you can change her clothes out, but when you change off, she's in this really sexy BDSM looking outfit. And they're like, they're selling this to children. I remember getting scared, oh my God, is mom going to take my Xena figure from me? She never did, because my dad would always be like, "Okay, calm down, Debbie. It's okay." But I remember that stuff. And I would argue with stuff. I would be like, "But I have Barbies, and she's not wearing any clothes at all. So why is that a problem?"
Right. Because Barbies are used as a way to domesticate young women, to train them. This is how you have to be when you're old. You need to cook and clean and do all
consume.
No,
buy shit.
Barbie did everything. By the time the 90s came along, Barbie was
that's true.
Yeah,
so. Which was cool. I'm glad that they took her out of that little box that she had been in. It's like, you know what, Barbie can do anything. She's an independent woman. Look at her.
As long as you got big boobs, you can do anything.
Yeah.
Didn't they have a problem with X-Men doll?
My family, they didn't like certain things. My mom would complain about the X-Men when we would watch the X-Men, because evolution, it taught evolution. And that was what she was big on, was that's not teaching what the Bible teaches, So
if only X-Men was real evolution. We're like, oh yeah, pretty soon we're gonna
the
shoot
same with Turtle.
I-beams.
It's the same with Turtle. She's like, I don't like that. But the thing is, she wouldn't. She would go through phases where she would ban stuff, and then she'd lighten up on it.
Yeah.
And be like, okay, it's okay. For a while, we weren't allowed to watch Labyrinth because this is a stupid story, and it's just my little kid sister being dumb. And my kid sister, she's older than me, but when she was a kid, she picked up a baby doll, and in the movie where Sarah's like, Goblin King, take this child far away from me. Ruthie, for some reason, I'm sorry to call you out, Ruthie, She's like, Jesus, take this baby away from me.
Yeah, all right, I can see how that presents.
And my mom's like, what did you say? She's like, you're not watching Labyrinth anymore. We're like, but Ruth is just being stupid. But then,
Damn
like,
it, Ruthie.
she lightened up. We weren't allowed to watch it for like a week. So it was just like weird stuff like that would happen. But we did go to church. We did go to Sunday school. Not all the time though. It would last like, I don't know what's going on because I was a kid, but like we would be at one church for a while, then we would not go to church for a while, and then we pick up again at another church for like a little while. So I don't know what was going on. There's some drama with the people.
I can
But
see that.
my dad didn't like church. He was like, I just want to read the Bible on my fucking porch kind of Christian guy. He's like, I don't need this guy telling me what like Jesus is saying right here. But no, my mom liked the social aspect of it though. So yeah, we did go to church. So there was a little bit of that, you know, you're not allowed to watch that because it's evil, but it wasn't like it wasn't like Satanic Panic like it was in the 80s. It was more about this company supporting that. They didn't take away my Xena figure. I still have her. So it was, there was a little bit of that, but it was eased up on.
Do you still have it like out now?
Yeah, I got it. She's downstairs.
Oh,
I'll go get her because I gotta go pee anyway. So I'll be right back.
Okay. I'll go ahead. I'll take
take me off.
Yeah. No, not that. There we go. There we go. I'll do that. We haven't heard anything from Dushan for quite some time, and this brings up kind of in the chat, so this will kind of tie in since we have someone on the show from very far away. Johnny Cock. I always got to do it that way. Was this just a U.S. thing? I grew up in Asia and didn't move to Canada until 92. Was Canada or UK going through some level of this too, which prompted JSP to say, wasn't just the U.S. and Reagan, UK, and Thatcher was much the same as I heard. So, Dushan, I will pass along to you. You can give us your religious background. Was this any of the stuff you're witnessing firsthand?
Well,
he sounds tired.
Yeah.
Well, my late grandma was very religious, but she wasn't nuts. So that was a good thing. My parents were moderate about it, and I got to watch any cartoon I wanted, uncensored. Yay!
Hell yeah! That's good. Is there anything else you want to add to that? Did you witness any other kids having to go, as John pointed out earlier, having to take their toys and this is trash now? You gotta get rid of them.
Like it didn't happen with the cartoons over here at all. Like the worst we got from the Satanic Panic was in the late 80s when media started writing about fake cult that called themselves the Black Rose. And they were scaremongering people, how they're taking away kids and such. But it simply didn't affect entertainment at all. Like we could all watch whatever we wanted, except the news, the political stuff. Yeah. We were shielded from that.
Because that's probably for the best.
I wish I had been as a kid. I hated it. That's why I don't watch the news today.
Because in the early 90s, the crap started in the country and war in Yugoslavia happened. So we were very much shielded from that. Yeah. And we got to watch cartoons. Yay.
Speaking of that, because when Tyler and I were younger kids, I remember the Gulf War was sort of the biggest thing going on at the time. And when you're a kid, you can't, at least personally, like I got the idea that there was a war going on and it's like, yay, rah, rah, America, all this stuff. But I wasn't understanding the players involved, why it was even going on to begin with. So in regards to Satanic Panic, I feel like that's the same thing. And as Tyler was talking about earlier, you know, you're playing with these toys and watching these cartoons. You're not thinking in the mindset of this is wrong or whatever. So the confusion that kids had to go through to just all of a sudden they're playing with these toys and watching these cartoons, and now you can't watch this, you can't play with these. It's got to be very confusing for a child. Period. Like I don't
imagine like in the situation with those two brothers, how many birthdays and like Christmases that their collection represented.
Yeah.
And then just all of a sudden one day, boom, it's all in boxes and gone, and you're not going to play with it.
That's traumatic. Like that you know, our parents' generation, that boomer generation always grew up in the mindset of tough it out, suck it up, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, now we're in this age and era where it's like that's what this was back then. This was depression, this was anxiety, this was childhood trauma, and things like that can affect a kid to when they grow up later in life. That did something to them. You never know how that can change the trajectory of a person. So it's insane the amount of fear mongering that would go on with that. My whole personal experience with religion is my mom growing up as a kid, her grandmother, it was an every Sunday thing, religion. My dad, not so much, because his parents were alcoholics and, you know, they were partying on the weekends all the time. How'd she get there, John? So I was in this weird position where religion was never forced on me at all. My parents were never like, we have to go to church. We never went to church. Like I would consider, and I've talked to them about this. My mom is a religious person. My dad is a religious person, but it's like Newt had said, similar to her father. My dad would just kind of keep that to himself. It was no one else's business. He wasn't going to tell anyone how to live their lives or whatever. So the only church experiences that I had was friends that were going all the time, and I would go kind of in solidarity and support with them, or like the vacation Bible school stuff was big. They were like, hey, you want to come? We got a foosball table. All right, cool. I'll come hang out. And from my experience, there was a lot of this happened a lot with my cousin and her subset of friends. They were all kind of like going to church and doing the some of those like after school daily church program things that they would have set up. And they're like, hey, you need to come in and do this. And I went one time just out of the good faith of like, all right, you know, it's my friends, I'll hang out with them or whatever. And it quickly turned into, and I don't know if anyone else here has had that kind of experience with people like that. Sonny, shut your fucking face.
Sonny, you're being rude.
That when I went, it immediately turned into the questions. Well, you know, why aren't you at church every week? Why aren't you joining up? Why aren't you hanging out with us? And
for God's sake.
My simple answer was like, you know, I respect what you guys are doing here. I have my own kind of ideas of what I'm going through with religion and my relationship with the whole ordeal. And I'm like, it's just not for me. And they couldn't take no for an answer. Like they were,
and that turns you off, right? You were like,
yes, automatically. I'm like, all right, yeah, no, I'm not doing this.
And no.
And that stuck with me as I've gotten older. Like I want to ask all of you, and John, we actually need to kind of get into your backstory with religion as well. But my stance on religion today is for the longest time, and I guess as a kid, I kind of, maybe it was just because, you know, everyone else in that mindset, because the weirdest thing to me is just like, as you grow up as a kid, it's just like the way that everyone talks to you about religion is just like, it's there. It's always there. It's always around us. It's been here. It's just, that is what it is, you know? And then when you start to think about it more, and then you take into consideration that there are so many other types of religions who believe in different things and have different entities that they are praying to or what have you, that my whole thing and I kind of still feel this way, but it's, and I'll explain why it's kind of changed a little bit. My whole perspective on it is, I think it's possible that all of these exist. Sure. If we die, is there heaven? There could be, but also there might not be. So I always sort of consider myself agnostic for the longest time, because it's the idea that yes, these things could be there, but I'm not sure. And me personally, I feel like no one's sure until we are gone, and then that's when you get your answer, I guess. I don't know. No one.
Well, I'm sure you're going to go to hell for thinking that.
Yeah, well, probably. I would say too, over the last few years, given the pandemic and given how, as John alluded to, with Reagan being there and how the nation kind of went more in a conservative direction, to see how the country, from the 90s going forward, which, one could say maybe towards the late 90s, early 2000s, in terms of things that were on television, maybe we did go a little too far. Maybe it did get a little too extreme. But to see all of this progression being made, when it comes to gay marriage, or the acceptance of the gay community, or transgender people, and all of this, to see in the last few years, it feels like we came this far, and now all of a sudden we are just going backward.
It's a pendulum. It's like a grandfather clock.
Yeah.
So when it swings one way, eventually it's going to swing to an opposite equal extent the other way.
Yeah, and it's become so loud, because that whole aspect of the fear mongering and the hatred, it's so loud that it's kind of encompassing everything. So I'm at a point in my life now with how terrible people are. And I'm going to say this, and I'm sorry if it offends anybody. I'm not trying to. I feel like I went from almost like agnostic to just straight up atheist, because in my mind, I'm like, I don't want any of this to exist, because I feel like the human race as a whole almost just doesn't deserve it anymore at this point. But those are just the bad days, I guess. Maybe I should kind of stick more in that agnostic territory, but it's interesting that I say this, and Tyler and I have had conversations. I'm going to come back to you, John, with your history with religion, but in Tyler's case, talking about how his dad, very religious, still to this day. I know Tyler has had a little bit of like. Is it all right, Tyler, if we talk about this a little bit, or would it be too much?
I just touch on it, I guess. Yeah, that's fine.
I remember there was a point in time where Tyler was like, I'm not gonna cuss as much, and I'm like, well, why? Because he was doing it all the time. I'm like, well, why? He's like, well, I just want to try to like be. I think I can't remember if it's verbatim, but I think you were like, I want to try to be, just like a better person. I'm like, dude, you're already a great person. Like saying that doesn't degrade that. And I was trying to, you kind of weren't having it for the time, and you were like that for a while, and then you're just like, all right, well, fuck it, whatever.
Yeah, it's like it's realizing like it doesn't make you a bad person because I said fuck. Yeah. It was pretty much just growing up. You pretty much had to understand this stuff for yourself and not let others influence you, including your parents. Right. And just like, cut the shit out, stop it. Because I clashed with my father over religion a few times over the years. Sometimes it got kind of ugly. But eventually, just had to just cut it out and not have that kind of influence, to where it's just, this is not good. It's not good. I love my father to death, but it was not doing me any favors, and it really gave a religion a really confused, bad taste in my mouth for quite a while. So, my brother checked out. He wanted nothing to do with it. Many, many years ago, I tried to be good about it and everything, and it didn't do me any favors. But where am I going with this?
I don't know. It's kind of a weird. It is a weird subject matter.
But I do, have religious beliefs, but I'll just leave it at that. I like just prefer to keep it private because it's really nobody else's business, and I respect
Exactly.
everybody. I respect everybody's beliefs. Like, Nathan would give me shit, not me directly, but he would, say stuff over the years, about religion and stuff like that. I'm like, well, that's his right. He's still my best friend, but he just would, because Nathan would make fun of everything, including religion. There was nothing that was sacred. And I was just like, and it quietly, I'm like, all right, I'm not, standing on a soapbox and casting Nathan down into hell or anything like that.
But people of that I'm not lumping you in with them. But I'm saying like people that are religious to a degree. It's weird. They're the people that keep it close to the chest, and it's like, you know what, this is my thing. And then there's the people, as we're gonna see here, that are just hellfire brimstone, pointing the fingers. What are you doing?
Ridiculous, yeah.
And they tend to be the ones who are the most fucked up. Which, like these two assholes in this video we watched, I guarantee these guys are probably fucking cheap or doing something weird.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But John, let's get to you. Let's get to you. Tell us about your religious background.
And what's it like being a Vulcan?
Yeah.
So my family was originally Christian, and then my grandmother converted to Judaism. So a lot of people would be like, well, that doesn't really count. I can see that. I can understand. So that's how I was raised. So we had Hanukkah and Passover and Purim and, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, all that kind of stuff. And it never really fazed me. It was weird seeing other people at school, getting ready for Christmas and that, and then I'd just be sitting there doing nothing. So there was a disconnect there. And then at the same time, even though I had an older sister, she was only a half sister, and I wasn't raised with her, so I was kind of raised like Nathan. I was an only child. There's a lot less influence there. I feel like when parents have multiple kids, they worry more about how the world is influencing their kids. But since I was the only one being raised by a single dad, I didn't care.
Yeah.
But even he did some of the stuff with Judaism when in the 70s. He went to Israel, and a couple of times he worked on a kibbutz, which is like a state-run or a communal farm where teenagers and whatnot would go there, and then they would farm the land or whatever it would be, and he would do that for a summer, and he'd come back. But none of that stuff was like pushed on me.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I was getting close to my time for the bar mitzvah, which is 13, was there actually any kind of religious pressure. And that was like, oh, well, you need to go to synagogue on Friday nights, and you need to start doing this, and we're going to sign you up for that, and you're going to go to religious school. We didn't call it Sunday school. It was called religious school. And the funny thing is, like, I don't know if it's different for Christians, Catholics, Jews, whatever. The people running our religious school were just teenage kids. You have like 16-year-olds.
Perfect.
They're like, yeah, they're going to tell you about this, but they also not only taught you like biblical history, but there would be a section of class where they're teaching you the Hebrew language, where you're learning all the letters, the vowels, how to construct the sentences, how to read the Torah, all that stuff. And it'd be like a 16-year-old girl, and she's just like, yeah, whatever, I don't care. I'm getting paid, a little side money to do this. But, she's got her own thing going on. Yeah. Nothing was super preachy. And then I had my bar mitzvah, and I remember the rabbi telling me, he's like, okay, this is just the first step on your religious life or journey, whatever. It's like, you're going to need to get confirmed or something like that. I'm like, and I told him, I'm like, I'm never back here again. I'm like, I did this for my grandmother. Mm-hmm. Like, this wasn't for me. Like, I don't like being here. I'm like, I have better uses for my Sundays.
Was this all going on for?
This was
13-year-old John.
This was at the height of the Iran-Contra affair. Because I remember when I had my bar mitzvah, and like you read from the Torah and you do all this other stuff, and you do like a little speech and you thank different people. I remember in my thank you speech, I thanked Oliver North. It was like instrumental in the Iran-Contra affair.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm like, I'm not gonna here and deal with this. I don't want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
There's other things to do. You can still be a good person. You can still have a spirituality. You can still know right from wrong without having things dictated to you.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
misconception about all religions. That everyone is so pushy with a lot of stuff, and it gives all religion a bad name.
Yep.
Those that keep it to themselves and don't enjoy talking about in a very adult manner are afraid to do so because they feel like, oh, if they find out you have a faith, you're one of those people. You're one of those pushy people who wants to denounce. Oh, you didn't dress really nice when you came to church today. You're going to go to hell. You didn't get that much money in the collection plate. You're going to go to hell. Otherwise, you're fucking around and being an asshole the rest of the week because you think God's
Exactly.
an idiot on
Yeah.
Sundays.
It's
So-
very
so-
hypocritical.
Yeah, like watch any mafia movie, right? Where they're killing each other left and right. They're killing their own family. They're doing assassination attempts. They're breaking into places. They're fencing stolen goods. All this other stuff. Meanwhile, they put all that down. They go to church. They dress up nice. They're hugging and kissing each other. They're talking about Sunday dinner. Blah 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 blah. And then come Monday morning, they're right back to killing each other again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who cares?
There's that, and then there's also just going even with Christianity. You know, you have your Baptists, you have your Catholics, and the way that they believe one thing is different than the other. And I'm like, why? You're both under the same umbrella, but you're both like you wore baggy jeans. You're going to hell. It's like Tyler was saying. It's like you did this, you're going to hell. And then there's some churches that are just like, no, that's cool. You'll get into heaven with that. Don't worry about it. And that it goes back.
Care about that,
It goes back to the whole thing that as a kid, as impressionable as we are by the cartoons and things, if you're saying one thing and doing another, or like now it was okay before and now it's not, like that's just too confusing to a kid.
It's a good point because these guys that we're talking about who did this bullshit 2 hour.
I'm gonna get this set up.
But I guess I just think about like those two, along with anybody else, is not giving a single parent, mother or father, the benefit of like, you're the parent. It is up to you to guide your children about right and wrong, what they should be doing, what they shouldn't be doing, what's not safe, what is safe. You're taking it upon yourself to pretty much tell them, oh no, we're governing your children here because my personal religious beliefs do not condone what your child just went to your local Hills and bought. I think that's evil. Your son now is going to go out there thinking he's going to levitate fucking Point Dread because he read it in a fucking mini comic. But I'm just letting you know that because that's my personal belief. So I'm going to save your child from going to hell. Listen to my bullshit.
Yeah.
As I give Christianity a bad name with, oh my God, that right there. He drinks his own pee. I'm telling you guys. Look, this does not look like someone who drinks his own pee.
He looks like every stereotypical land developer bad guy from every 80's movie.
I know, exactly.
The kids have to they have to pull a concert or they have to raise money to save the rec center because this douchebag and his dad
are going to buy it and turn it into a parking
They're
lot.
like, oh, this is going to be a parking lot for my new shopping center.
Or a country club, like
country
in the
club.
Goonies.
Yep. He lives in a Tudor-style house.
Yeah.
Tyler's the only one that's going to get this reference, or anyone that went to school with us. This dude looks like Forrest Serber.
Yeah, he does. He doesn't talk like Forrest, but he looks.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go ahead and play this, and I got the volume turned up. The audio quality on this is kind of shitty anyway.
Well, we don't need to hear what these jerk offs say. Anyway.
But I kind of want people at home to hear it. So we'll let this play for a little while. We'll just kind of talk over it, and then I have some things that Dushin sent me that I'm gonna pop up, and we'll read them together and just kind of break that down. This
we're like church.
Yeah.
We're gonna read them together here, and
Welcome to the
pass around the collection plate for Joe.
And the sermon of Fans of Power. Here we go. This came out in 1985, right?
Yep.
And this was
because Snake Mountain was out, and they make a point to buy Snake Mountain and buy they're talking Thundercats
stuff. PS.
Yeah, they're buying it all and showing you clips and everything. I'm like, I'm sorry, you're doing nothing, but you know what? It speaks for itself. These assholes.
All right, here we go.
Pee drinker.
So the child vicariously lives through that toy. Yes, very much so. And the Lord told me that children were being affected
No kidding, he
by
told
these
you?
things, and that
The Lord told him this shit. Sorry if I'm
Lord
just gonna
told
pause
me.
it and play it.
I'm sorry, but
It's
still
like
to
the
this day
10
cannot-
Commandments, man. He came down and was like, "Hey, these are the 10 toy lines that you got to make sure that these kids can't have."
Dude,
Yeah.
the funniest thing is that there's stuff in the Bible that's a million times more traumatizing and horrific than any story that was told from an 80s cartoon.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
but you can't. No, John, that's not how this works. All right, here we go.
I was to do something about it, which preceded in me starting studying this material over 2.5 years ago.
Well,
Well, we've
Charles.
seen
He's been
over
watching
the last
cartoons for
several
2.5 years.
a
Yeah.
slow, subtle,
Traumatized by fucking Lassie. What a
occultic
pussy.
influence in our cartoons, but it's become so blatant. When do you feel this blatant turn towards the occult and witchcraft really took on its momentum? Well, there's a cartoon called He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
Masters of the
He-Man and the Masters of the
Masters
Universe
of the
really
Universe.
broke the ground on this.
Start wearing my
cartoon.
hair like that.
Yeah.
In fact, it set so many records. It
Ah,
was turned
he's so
down by all
evil.
3 major networks, by the way. It was the first cartoon to go through independent TV stations as a first-run cartoon, and it covers 95% of America. So you're saying He-Man was like an occultic forerunner to really blast this into the public's eye. Oh yeah, the cartoons,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's all
Oh,
He-Man's
oh,
fault.
yeah.
Look at that. Look at that toy. It's all his fault.
But He-Man was such a
He-Man looks like
tremendous
a guy from Muscle
He got as
Beach or
much as
from
a
like Venice Beach
22-point
that just
Nielsen
works out all the
rating in
time. Yet
many
he's like
areas
occult and
when it
evil.
was shown. And that's market control, as you know.
Yep, there's Satan worshiping right there.
Look at what we're seeing right now.
He-Man
and
literally
see open to a He-Man
battles
series and
demons.
see some of the occultic
Yes,
overtones.
somehow he
That was
encourages
my
kids to.
argument.
Yeah, I'm gonna pause it. Yeah,
That was my argument.
he's
When my mom
fighting
was,
demons
when my
and
mom
monsters.
told me, "Oh, I don't like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I don't like you watching that." I'm like, "She beats up the demons and the vampires." I'm like,
Yeah,
"That's
she's
not what you want
doing
me to do."
Jesus a favor, man.
Exactly.
I literally had the argument as a kid with my mom, so it's funny that you say that, Jishan, because I'm just like, they fight against the evil. How is that bad?
JSP says his mouth looks like Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, lucky.
Tina, eat it.
Gosh.
That lard.
Eat your dinner.
Eat your dinner.
Actually, Napoleon Dynamite kind of sounds like John Laurinaitis a little bit too.
We're staying my
yeah.
life.
Yeah. He-Man.
Why are you so
wants He-Man.
vascular?
See, look at his arms. They're so vascular. I love to rub them down with evaporated milk. Wouldn't you? Oh, man. Yeah, he likes to battle demons and stuff. He saved my soul from going to hell.
You had a little bit of Stone Cold there at the end.
Goddamn, kid.
There you go.
Yeah.
Begin this. We're going to play a little segment here showing the transformation of He-Man.
I'm gonna skip past.
Bringing the
that.
hellfire and the brimstone.
I'm gonna skip it because I don't want to get the potential because it might play too long in NBC Universe.
You don't want to inquire. You don't want to the wrath of NBC Universal.
Yeah, I don't need the wrath of those demons.
No.
Yeah.
I'll just get those from all my demonic toys.
Yeah,
I
they're
have
hung up
behind me.
on Grayskull.
Oh, is that correct? Yes. What you just seen is He-Man being transformed. In fact, his name is Adam. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
He bit
no.
a fucking apple, too,
Oh,
right?
no, not
He-Man, the
Adam.
most powerful man in the universe.
All Skeletor had to do
More powerful
was
than
watch this,
God.
and he would know who He-Man was.
Yeah.
By lifting his sword in the air and yelling by the power of Grayskull. Now, to understand
Power
what
Grayskull.
Grayskull is, it is a castle built by unknown hands.
I'm gonna put that in our next intro. Power
And there's a
Grayskull.
demon
You
spirit
should have-
living within
you should have
it.
done
You
one.
should.
Yeah.
Grayskull.
Yes.
And
Make
so
sure
I
that is
built
because I thought that was funny
Yeah,
when I watched it.
clip that.
Like
do
all
the,
epic, like a big
Yeah.
dolph sound.
yeah, no, yeah.
Oh,
Just clip the
Power
part
Grayskull.
where it's like Power Grayskull, and then clip the part where it's like He-Man, the Master Universe.
Oh man, I wish we could like Deucey could do like an edit of instead of John Irwin's voice, it's He-Man in the Master Universe. And here comes Adam.
Yeah.
Is empowered by occultic demon spirits. You're kidding me. So all of this is.
Oh, it reminds me of the Hardy Boys in South Park. Oh, I think we're getting clear.
They are picking up all these occultic overtones. Oh, very much so. You know, I received this letter. I thought I might read it here. A lady had written to the Eagle's Nest, and she said, "How harmless are the cartoon characters on the Masters of the Universe program?"
Did he say
children?
They wrote that to the Eagle's Nest?
Yeah, that's the name of their ministry, the Eagle's Nest. I want to take a shit in it.
Yeah, I'll back up.
What was Hitler's secret headquarters called?
I'm going to assume the Eagle's Nest.
Yep.
And we look at that mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that ain't part of the Third Reich, I don't know what it is.
Let's listen to what this letter actually has to say.
Overtone. Oh, very much so. You know, I received this letter. I thought I might read it here. A lady had written to the Eagle's Nest, and she said, "How harmless are the cartoon characters on the Masters of the Universe program for children? My sister-in-law allows her son to watch this television show, and he also has all the characters, He-Man, Skeletor, who you see on the screen right now, and the Castle of Grayskull, to which this little 2-year-old boy repeats from the show by the power of Grayskull." Here's a little boy repeating, 2 years old, by the power of Grayskull, and she says he holds his hand up, saluted to the sky. So a 2-year-old is actually learning these things. Well, the Bible
that idiot kid's doing it wrong then, because he's not on the whole hand of this guy.
Right? And
he doesn't have a sword.
He can't.
Well, he's not saying power Grayskull instead of power.
In fact, I was talking to one lady, and I've heard a number of experiences like this, but she said, my little boy was in the back seat of the car, and a radio preacher came on and said, "Our Lord God, the Master of the Universe." And her boy jumped from the back seat of the car and said, "Mommy, God isn't Master of the Universe. He-Man is."
Hell yeah!
What?
Yeah!
Totally happened. Trust me, bro.
He-Man is the Master of the Universe. Oh,
yeah, I call
even
bullshit. That never happened.
My dad was talking about.
He clearly has no understanding of a child associating that phrase with He-Man, not denouncing Christianity.
Well, he's just making up shit. So.
He's just trying to find shit to plead his bouffant
trying to cause
taste.
fear into
I'm
people.
talking about with He-Man in his hand, running around in circles saying, "He-Man has more power than Jesus."
Oh my
Bullshit,
god. Okay.
dude.
Totally said
Bullshit.
that.
So
Never
you can
happened.
assume that millions of children that can say what these programs
Millions of kids did
are
this.
having their minds transformed from reading the Word of God or believing what the Bible says to believing what the cartoons are saying. They have that kind of influence on their mind. Right, they're taking on many gods.
Yes, kids are
Natty
retards.
gods.
Let's look at what this is spawning in our toy stores. Each cartoon
It's spawning in our toy
is
store.
spawning little toys.
By
that
the way,
represent
broadcast
Jesus.
standards and
Then I'm gonna
practices
show you a
forbid
He-Man
any
figure here,
religious
And he's
references.
got this, what do you call this sword here? Well, that's the sword of power. But as we talk about He-Man, he becomes transformed.
He almost sounds like a valley girl. Like, it's a lot of power.
Take a look at
Oh my
Skeletor. Okay, now this is
totally
the
the
He-Man,
sword
a
of power.
muscular figure and so forth that mostly little boys follow, I take it? Right. But the little girls have someone too.
Oh, here you go.
Many little girls play with this. Oh, really? Well, let's look at Skeletor now.
I'm talking about you, Rebecca.
On our screen. And Skeletor is this ugly
I love how they break.
skeletal creature.
I love how they break
with
down
a
the
staff
staff
in his
here.
hand. Now, what's that staff that he's got in his hand? The staff is a ram's head staff. Now, the ram's head is a very occultic symbol. It's boiled in cauldrons. It's used in different occult practices. But when it's seen on the staff, it's called a norok. And when the norok is pictured in occult books, many times it's pictured with the butt of the staff crushed onto the head of a dove. Now, Skeletor introduces most of the occult within the toy series. He has the ability to mind control, to levitate, to astral project. And,
He's the bad guy.
Yeah.
do many
He's a
other
demon.
practices and
He
take
is.
away- So you're telling me little boys...
And he gets
with-
punched
with Skeletor
repeatedly.
with his power here
He's
and-
who He-Man stops.
You see, this
Because
is actually
He-Man is good.
a dove that
Jesus
represents
Christ.
total satanic power. Of course, we know that the goat's head, the ram's head, represents Satan anyway in the occult. So little
So it
My
makes
boys-
figure,
sense
some of my
for
does it?
figures just fell down. I think the demons are
And
coming
where
for me.
does Skeletor
Oh, no.
live?
Yeah.
Skeletor lives in a
Well, you said you're atheist, so now you're going to pay the price.
world.
How much do you think those figures are worth?
Do something.
Like the actual, like if you
666.
had the figures that they played with, their actual ones that they had in this broadcast, how much do you think those could sell for?
666.69.
Yeah.
Yeah, he nailed it.
Yeah,
God.
all right, yeah.
Think about Eternia a little later
Need to
on.
figure out what.
Now, who
Talk
lives in
about
Snake Mountain?
Eternia a little
Well,
later
Skeletor
on.
lives in Snake Mountain. Could we talk about
Oh,
Snake
does
Mountain?
he?
Sure.
No.
Let's
Oh, here
take
we
a
go.
look at
Well,
it.
God forbid
Now,
we
we have a toy that we got at the
Mountain.
store, which is called
Mountain.
simply Snake Mountain. I thought I'd get this
Very
toy
big
up here.
close
If we can
attention
on the
because
screen.
he enjoys it.
Here's the snake and
Yes.
all.
As if Mattel was gonna be offended by this, you paid the $50 for Mattel to get
Here, I'm
that.
going to turn it on. It can actually transform your voice from your regular voice to that of an occultic hero. Is that correct?
An occultic
So
hero.
let's get a
Yeah.
Skeletor type of voice.
Oh God.
Way to go, dude. You fucking
Let me
asshole.
turn this on here. I think I'm getting it too loud. Skeletor, the master of the universe.
He just wanted to play
Does
this
that give you
thing
kind of an
out.
example
He
of,
smiled. He smiled for a moment after
it
saying it.
transforms your voice
He's like,
into
can we
that
just
of
talk about
an
Sting
evil.
Mountain because I'm real
So
and play with
little
this toy.
children
I know.
would,
You
little
could just
children would
bet that
actually
he
use
knows
that
it's all
to even
pure
identify
bullshit.
more with these occultic heroes.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, I think it would be interesting
Oh,
to go
yeah,
to
yeah,
another
yeah.
video showing even more of the occultic overtones in the Skeletor and Castle Grayskull, which we'll get to a little later. But all of this, I mean, we're seeing such occultic overtones, and this segment we just played was not something we looked for. We just turned on the TV and recorded the first segment we saw. Isn't that
You're so
correct?
full of
Right.
shit, man.
Well, I want to
They
get
are.
back to exposing some of these characters that we see in the cartoons. So, Phil, would you tell us about?
I love their
characters
set
we're
too. Like
seeing
they're so fucking wholesome with their plaid chairs sitting by the window.
battle. The good is empowered by satanic
She's
power.
so beautiful.
This is Tila. They call her the warrior goddess or the patron saint of all warriors. You know,
He
she
read
No
the
kid.
mini comics.
has a breastplate and has a cobra head staff in her hand. Now, the cobra is the symbol for demonic power and
You
protection.
hear that, John? We've been working on my Cobra staff. We've just been summoning demons this whole week.
The whole time.
This whole time.
Very tightly clad clothes and
I like how they take like all the symbolism that
All
these
the
different
tight
things.
clothes. Notice how they didn't complain about the guys' clothes, only Tila's, even though she has more clothes than them.
No, like so the serpent theme and Snake Mountain and the ram's head staff is all these have symbolism in the normal Bible, and none of it's
Exactly. That's not evil.
exactly. You know, it's like Moses had a magic staff.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that turned into a snake.
Yep.
I mean,
Didn't Moses also have horns?
Yes, well, yeah. According to some Renaissance sculptors, that Moses and Jews have horns.
Which
is actually kinda cool.
removed.
It's just them cherry. It's just them cherry
Well-
picking what they want. Like they have to dig so deep. They're like, well,
Yeah.
there's one place it's evil to have a
well,
cobra.
it's,
Even though Moses had a fucking cobra in the Bible.
it's one hand of like digging deep. It's the other hand surface level shit. Just like taking any little thing they can get,
And that's
turning
all.
it
It
into
just shows you
something.
how empty their case is. They're just going for the bare minimum, and just say, "Look, this is evil because snakes are evil, rams are evil."
Did they
You know?
ever? Because I've never sat down and watched this whole thing. Is there any point where they say what kids should be playing with toy wise?
I honestly, all these years, I still can't sit through the damn thing. I just can't because I get so. I tried it again today. I'm like, fuck this, man. I cannot sit and listen. I watched probably more today than I ever have, and I cannot sit and watch
because
this
it's so
shit.
much funner to watch it with you guys than it is to sit and watch it by yourself.
But it's just irritating. Listen to these assholes sit there and say that She-Ra is evil. Thundercats are evil. You know, or saying, "Oh, you didn't hear what these assholes say about the Eye of Thundera."
Yeah,
you know,
we'll get there. I'll play it.
I'm just saying, it's just nonsense. I mean, what if these guys are still around?
They're peddling.
Yeah, we
fear.
did. We looked it up.
Are they?
Are they still peddling that everything's evil like this, or were they convicted of like crimes?
No, you guys not that long ago. You played this. What was this? Maybe a year and a half ago, and you looked up the porn star looking guy, the freaking John Holmes looking dude.
I don't remember any of this.
We looked up a porn guy.
No, and it's like, oh yeah, he was still. Well, maybe no. Actually, maybe it was just me and Newt. We were looking it up. But yeah, he still has like
You guys
some
were looking
ministry.
up porn together?
It's kind of
Bags of
simple,
dicks.
isn't it? Yeah, looking up bags of dicks. That's what they were looking at.
Oh shit! We've been going this whole time. We needed Rebecca to show off her evil toy that she's got.
Oh.
She went through all the trouble to go get it.
Yeah. So this is Xena regular.
Let's
But
see
God
that.
Oh, yeah.
forbid.
Yeah.
It is very sexy looking, but it's only
Say,
evil.
say,
This
say.
is her sexy
Oh,
Can you
little-
yeah.
can you turn her head by 360 degrees?
No, you can't turn her head at all.
Ah.
But
Then it's not evil.
here,
Look at those thighs.
hold on.
Oh,
Can you
yeah.
Focus, please?
Look at those tits.
Exactly.
That's
This
why
is
it's
what they're
dangerous.
complaining about. Like, yeah, it's super sexy, but
Yeah.
I mean, Barbie's not wearing anything, so.
Yeah. At least
Yeah.
they took the time to put paint to cover.
But I
up
was
the
scared
bit.
my parents were going to take this. They didn't, so it was cool.
Well, that's good. These guys would have though, and probably
Yeah,
been
they
weird,
would have, and
but-
then they would have masturbated to it.
or shoved it up their ass.
Exactly.
About the toys also. Yeah. This character is called Many Faces.
Many faces.
Many faces.
Many faces.
Get it right or pay the
Cartoon,
price. Come on.
Many Faces becomes demon possessed by
I
drinking
guess if you were going to have a
magical
problem with
potion
any of them,
Skeletor
this would be
gives
the
him.
one, right?
Now he is
Above
released
all?
from that. He becomes a good.
I never said he was.
Kinda.
I never thought he was a demon until I read the mini comic, and even that, I'm like, I don't subscribe that he's a demon at all.
Evil character again. He crosses back and forth.
You mean little children with a Many Faces toy? Now I've got the little Many Faces toy here.
Many faces.
Can actually
Many
see
faces.
him
They keep saying it wrong.
possess a skeleton type of creature.
And they don't show the robot face. They always just want to emphasize the
I guess
human.
Skeleton?
and the demon.
If we might try
Yeah.
it here.
Does it look like a
There it
fucking
goes.
skeleton to you?
No, I was about to say skeleton face.
He's a good guy.
Talking about.
And then the little child can. There's several faces, many faces in this little toy, which change.
He's only putting the toy over.
Become a skeleton creature, and we can go around to the different.
It's not a skeleton,
This
moron.
is some kind of a message to the children. Oh,
Yes, it is. Have you never seen a skeleton?
Can still be good.
Uh,
Kidding.
Yeah, we're all green.
what
green
message is
underneath
that
the skin.
sending to a kid? Don't change your face into a skeleton face, or what the fuck are you this idiot's even talking about?
Wait.
Straight
no.
Stratos.
Straight
Now
up?
Joe is going, yes, nailed it, bastard.
Yeah.
This is where Joe's like, I agree with these guys here.
Yeah.
Oh no.
There.
Yeah, they got a
That's
point.
all Joe was saying right there.
Wait, hey, I'm gonna back it up. I do. Let's listen to what they say about Stratos here.
They call him the Winged Lord. He has the ability to fly and to shoot fire from his hand. You'll notice that he's a half.
He's making
man,
shit up.
half bird.
He is.
Now, this is an influence
Oh,
from
hang
the
on.
gods of the ancients. They're half men, half beast. This particular one is the sun god Ra. He's becoming a very popular revival within the toy and cartoon series, as we'll see in some of the other cartoons later on.
We're going back to ancient pagan gods and forming our toys after them.
Right. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Right.
okay.
What's
Wow.
our next
I'm sure that's what the people
Well,
at
we're
Mattel
going
were
to take a
thinking
look
when
at
they
some of
made
the
this shit.
That's not a
I'm sure-
pagan god, by the way. That's an Egyptian god, but okay.
And part of the way
Joe
I
is
do
saying,
that is
shut
look at
up.
the comic books that come with it. This is the PowerPoint dress. Behind the
PowerPoint
PowerPoint is
dress.
the skeleton in a classic lotus position of meditation.
Oh my!
Legs crossed,
Fuck
arms folded,
off!
See, he's a fan of mini
he's
comics.
levitating off the ground.
In a yoga type position.
Right. He has a power
Okay,
beam
yoga
coming from his
type
head,
position.
holding a
Clearly that
crystal
means
ball.
the
Crystal
occult,
ball is
so.
used in metaphysical communication with the dead. Right. And he's talking about that this crystal ball is the only
John
thing that
just
will
sent me
allow
a
him
link,
to focus all of his
to
psychic
Garrett
energy.
Greenwald
That's on the
here.
first
I'm
page
gonna.
Oh,
of the-
yeah, because
gonna-
I couldn't find any Phil Phillips.
Well, this is from rationalwiki.org, so it's got some funny bits. I'll go.
Now, this one's
The opening sentence is hilarious.
I'll mute that and let that play while I read this.
What these idiots talk about.
Dr. Gary L. Greenwald is a weirdo California-based pastor who strongly resembles 1970s porn star John Holmes. He also promoted the pointless satanic panic movement in the 80s through a series of fear-mongering videos. Greenwald has made a career of interpreting occult or satanic symbolism in almost everything ever. Greenwald's primary crusade was against rock music, which he claimed contained large amounts of demonically inspired backward masking. I remember that shit. If you play it backwards, man,
Yeah.
it's saying Paul is
yeah.
dead. He also rallied against action figures, creating a video in conjunction with Phil Phillips What a great name. Saturday morning cartoons, Asian martial arts, yoga and statues, and jewelry with a perceived occult influence. Pastor Greenwald still operates an Eagle's Nest Ministries in California where he practices faith healing. We should go visit this asshole and be like, you are...
See if he would love to come on our podcast.
Oh, that would be fucking funny.
Wait, see, so he practices faith healing, so he's literally a total fraud.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's going around
That
smacking
doesn't
people in the
exist.
face saying, you've been forgiven for all your sins and put money
Yeah,
in the
it's that
collector's
type
plate.
of grift. It's
Yep.
all that fear-mongering bullshit.
Yeah.
It's not a real religion. It's a mockery of religion.
Yeah, it is. Because all this is for them to turn a profit. Because they're
money
making
and power.
Yeah. Well,
And
thank
it
God that
clearly
Mattel,
works since he's still in the business.
Yeah.
You know what's messed up too is when this dropped, this was the year that He-Man had made the most money, which is 1985.
That's why they went after it. They're like,
Oh, of course,
people
yeah.
will pay attention to us.
Yeah.
We talk about
Yep,
this.
exactly. It wasn't on their radar.
Oh, no, Rainbow Bright. Oh, God.
Yeah, no, this is when they talk about the cereal. I did watch a little bit of this, and this
I
is
didn't
pretty
see
good.
this part.
Yeah.
I think I only watched the He-Man part.
Used to be an advocate.
You people
for the
want your
product.
kids to
And
have
that's when an
demonic
intelligent mother walks
diabetes.
out and buys a
There you go.
box of cereal that's over
Demonic
50% sugar
diabetes.
and feeds it to her kids, knowing full well that kid's going to bounce off the walls in 20 minutes.
Because the child is going to be on her case and say, "Mama, I want to eat Cookie Crisp," until she finally gets it.
Oh yeah, you've never seen a commercial, cereal commercial for children during the Super Bowl or during 6 o'clock news. They don't care if you ever see it because they create an advocate within your home. Now, if they can do that with 30-second commercials, think what they can do with 30-minute cartoons.
Okay, now let's go for a second. Here's a box of cereal.
The
There you go.
peddling the idea of cartoons being commercials. I hope
Yeah.
all those people on Twitter are so proud that they're repeating the horseshit that these people were saying.
Thank you. They are. They literally are. They're complaining about Shira being too sexy, about the same shit that these morons are talking about. The most of the woke people now are just the fucking conservatives of the 80s.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
I never understood the whole idea that the generation that like went to Woodstock and they're like, yeah, peace and love, man, or now they're these people that are just like, gay people can't get married. I'm like,
Right?
what happened to the person that you were all those years ago?
Yeah.
It changed. But it
They
happened.
got sober.
They got sober.
Let's see what. Why is this Rainbow Bright cereal so demonic?
Toys that are out. Oh yeah, they're starting
a
to
witch.
license a lot of the cereals to link with toys, and so it creates a greater desire for the toy and the cereal and other licensed products.
And here's another one, G.I. Joe. And we know that a lot of his characters are out right now. And the G.I. Joe characters are getting occultic too, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
We're
They
seeing this
are.
more and more, and we'll show some of their characters a little later to show
All
you
right, John, I
how
got to play the
occultic
G.I. Joe stuff
is
for
going.
you.
I think what we'd like to ask right now, Phil, is there any kind of character that the girls can relate to?
Well, there is, and her name is She-Ra, and there's another one that is out there that is for girls, basically, and that's Golden Girls. Now, girls watch the other cartoons too. One thing I'd like to do is tie all this information up that we've given people.
Oh,
I like how he
You
just
see,
brushes
all
over the
those
girl
things
stuff.
together.
We're not going to
Yeah.
talk about that,
Because
really.
when a child
He does cover She-Ra though.
they
And he said Golden Girls too.
I
Hey,
know.
why are they on
their
TV?
imagination into the toy and give it life, character, abilities, and talents that set the surrounding around it. They've been
God,
programmed
you look at this guy. You know he's a virgin.
to play with the toy in a certain manner.
Still this day.
And so if the cartoon says that a character has a
Can you imagine any woman giving this guy the time of day?
I would say something, but I think it's best for me to just keep that.
I'm thinking the same thing.
Space for hookers.
Yeah,
in a certain manner.
Well, let's
Male
take a toy, for
hookers.
instance. Then we'll take the little He-Man. And
His
name is- His name is Phil Phillips. That's like the most vanilla name
And I
ever.
almost feel like that's probably a fake name because they probably, they
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
put his real fucking name on there.
imagination of powers, and it really gets the children looking into the occult for their powers. Is that correct?
Creates a taste for the occult. and they
Taste. You understand that?
Mustache guy is here. He says right before we filmed this, I did a snack pack worth of Coke,
then they take on
cried
these
with my choir
characters
boys, and
fantasies
played with
of
my He-Man
themselves.
toys.
Cried
I'm
with
judging
my-
them harshly.
Oh, we appreciate that, Third Reich.
Well, let's go on now and show what the girls are identifying with, which is She-Ra.
Oh, good.
Here's the
She-Ra.
This is where all my problems
She-Ra.
started in
This is
life
the first
was
thing we
these
recorded.
demonic cartoons.
Everything's been recorded.
Let's watch the competition of witchcraft here. And She-Ra.
Witchcraft.
Martial arts or yoga exercises. Well, we did see yoga exercises last week. As we've been observing here, there were gymnastics and martial arts type of
Which is
Not
evil.
gymnastics.
here with the Thundercats. And again,
You know how
Yeah, you
flexible
bet-
the devil is.
You better
Ew.
ban it from the Olympics. Holy shit.
Huh.
I know exactly.
Gymnastics. I draw the line at
It has
gymnastics.
the
I'm
eye
sorry.
of Thundera.
All right, Mary Lou
Oh.
Retton. I mean, she's the spawn of Satan herself.
Huh.
The Sword of Omens that
Oh, boy.
Lionel, the hero of this cartoon, carries is.
I wanna
the
see how much he gets
object
wrong
of
about
the whole thing,
Thundercats.
Trying to control this sword. Now, it's called the Sword of Omens, and there's an eye in the center called the Eye of Thundera. It's a red eye.
Mhm.
And when placed to the forehead, it enables you to see into the future, to tell if there's danger around. Now, this
I mean, that
third
seems like a pretty
eye
cool
is
ability to
directly
have.
from the
but-
third
Yeah.
eye Hinduism. And
I mean,
when
they're just making. If I was a little kid listening to this, be like, wait, I can have these powers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I just
I'd
give
be
into
like,
the
that sounds
cult,
pretty cool.
that sounds a lot better than Christianity right now.
Yeah.
It's part of everyday life.
Lionel has a huge sword. Who else had a huge sword? Bert
Creating
Moore.
creating a desire for the occult again.
I'm absolutely astounded.
And we noticed that Lionel
He's
spoke with his
flabbergasted,
dead
ladies and
father, as
gentlemen.
we're going to see in the next clip.
I'd like to play another video segment.
Not playing
from the
video segments. I don't wanna get in
Thundercats,
trouble.
Half man and half beast that we
Just
saw.
mute it.
Toby, little Luke
Yeah,
Skywalker talked to him.
All right, I'll be
Here,
right back,
we
guys.
find Lionel talking to his dead father,
Take a
Jaga. Is
shit.
that his name?
Yeah.
Jaga. Phil, what is this called when they talk to the dead?
That's called necromancy, and it's dealt with in Deuteronomy on a number of occasions. That this is something we're not supposed to have in our home.
It's an abomination to God for us to speak to spirits of the dead or dead relatives, which are really only
Let's watch
demons
some more of
masquerading
this
as dead
abomination
ones.
of God.
And then he summons forth his sword, and he summons it forth, and it.
You better get rid of the
levitates to his
Ouija
hand.
boards then.
I can't believe some of the absolutely bizarre creatures there. The one was called Mumra, is that correct? Now, we have a culty toy here that we bought in the
A culty
store.
toy.
Which is this Mumra?
Well, it is part of Mumra. Mumra changes from a mummy that you saw on the screen to this figure right here. And Ra again is the sun god Ra. And this is
They
called.
just
the other
conveniently keep
evil
ignoring that
one.
it's a
The
villain.
ever-living evil one.
Exactly.
It's interesting. If
Oh
I
yeah, yeah.
back of this doll, the arms begin to move.
Oh no!
Oh
Oh
no.
god!
And the battery in the back, the eyes will light up.
Holy
and
shit.
It's a real,
Oh my god! It's gymnastics. Holy shit!
Depiction of what's on the
Can
cartoon.
move.
And the
Could you imagine having your life so boring that you're like offended by
The
this?
cobras again. The cobras
You know?
again being the
Yeah.
symbol of
People
demonic
are
power.
offended by stupid
Totally
shit now that make no
amazing. I
sense.
am,
So it's like people are just
totally
complaining about
wiped out by what
slightly
we're
different
seeing.
things.
So when we talked about the sort of omens and all of these things, again, the children are taught to identify with things that are occultic. Is that correct? Right. So Phil, what would you say the scripture would be for us to share with the people who are watching today?
I think probably the greatest scripture that we can share right now is 2 Corinthians 11, verse 3. It talks
It
about
says,
Eve
"Give us the money."
by the serpent's
Exactly.
cunning or trickery or plan. And she was deceived in her mind. She was not deceived in her flesh or her spirit, in her mind. And
By the
when
way,
she was
Tyler
deceived
literally
in
did
her
go
mind
to
by
take
the
a
serpent's
shit.
plan, she was led astray.
Yeah,
from
Tyler
a
went to go
pure
do
and
something, I guess.
sincere
Maybe he did go take a
devotion to
old
Christ
dump.
or God.
Clearly, this had a laxative
Now, our
effect on
children
him.
don't
Yeah.
have to wind up in the backyard.
We need like a clip from
sacrificing
Reverend
chickens to
Lovejoy
moon
from The
God
Simpsons.
to be affected by
Yeah.
the occult with toys and cartoons.
And you say some have even yelled out in parking lots.
Did you wash your
"God is more
hands,
powerful than Jesus
sinner?"
Christ."
I had to after I practiced my satanic yoga. You know.
Okay, that's what you're doing.
Yeah,
He was hovering above the toilet.
I
You
was.
took a shit upside down.
Yes.
I took the most satanic deuce I've ever had in my life, man. It was burning hellfire out of my asshole.
The desire and the taste for it.
Well,
That's the
you're
price
going
we
to-
pay for
I
liking
know
this
some of you
You'll
satanic
have to
stuff.
clean that
are
ceiling.
already saying,
I
can't
will.
believe it. I let my
Well, all right.
children
I'm gonna have
watch
the
this
pea
on
soup I
Saturday.
spit out.
Perfect
What is
American
this?
dream type people. You know, Barbie is
The
absolutely
Barbie,
perfect.
the
Perfect
worst
body,
evil in
perfect
the
hair,
world,
perfect clothes,
promoting
perfect car, perfect house.
anorexia.
Listen to him. Listen to him gush about Barbie.
Absolute
Oh, is
image.
he in love with
Yeah.
Barbie?
Yeah, he's Mr. Smithers.
The house, the car,
Uh,
Oh,
everything
Ken.
material about
Beautiful
them
Ken.
is
I
just
mean,
goes
evil
right
Ken.
along. And Dr. James Dawson puts it this way: Barbie has absolutely no blemishes except for "Made in Hong Kong" stamped on her rear end. Right.
Oh, damn.
he's been staring at her rear end
But
too
there's
long.
someone who's a little more emotional
Look at that
involved with
slut.
Barbie than me. I'm not convinced
That whore.
that would be Bill Barton. Now, most people don't know who Bill Barton is, but Bill Barton was the co-designer of Barbie. In a
That
recent
hussy.
interview with Newsweek magazine, he contributed the
That
current
Jezebel.
outbreak of anorexia nervosa,
Jezebel.
the self-imposed starvation syndrome, to the popularity of Barbie
Homewrecker.
and the pitiful.
Here's another one, another man-to-beast transformation where you can turn around the head inside, and these seem to be very occultic in their overtones.
They seem to be, don't they?
From a
Oh
man
yeah, it's
to
so
an animal
occultic. I
is a
wouldn't even touch
very
it.
occultic
He's like, please don't open that. That's mental card.
Another one
Yeah.
here, which we found in the store called the Sectors, Warriors of
Hey!
Symbiote.
Hey, right here, my shirt, man.
And it says, now
Yeah.
the battle is in your hands. Very interesting. Can they see that? Let me take this out of the
I
box.
really like that box
And
art, by
I'll
the
show you
way.
that it
Yeah.
actually
Oh,
does
beautiful.
some tricks. Now, this is where a child can identify with this and actually take this out of the
I
box.
actually ordered
Dude,
that.
he
Yeah,
loves
those
playing
are-
with it.
Put it on his
Those are
hand.
badass.
You bought this?
So let me see if I can
I
put
bought
my hand in
Spidrax
here.
with the
Oh, no.
spider flyer. That's
Unbelievable.
on. It'll be here in the next
Get my
few days.
fingers in the
How much
That's
that
one of the
cost?
most genius designs for
Oh,
a
oh my
toy
god,
ever.
it is.
That
It's
is
missing.
cool.
It's missing
That
two
is
wings,
cool.
but everything
I'm
else.
not
So
as
it's,
familiar with
incredible.
insectoids
And
as I should be because those are fucking cool.
I told Nathan we got to talk about some sectors on the podcast. So
Yeah.
Look at that.
I paid $150 for them.
That's
Isn't
not
that amazing?
bad.
I got
mean,
it down from 175.
no,
So.
yeah. Oh,
About the
way to hack.
flying beast with the riders on
And
them.
this guy got it for the original price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The winged
It's part of his collection.
Probably.
I'm sure he has like a secret collection. I mean, besides being in the closet, I'm sure he has like another secret.
Where do you think it's
It's
going?
always
I'm
right
sure-
Next
I'm-
to, right next to naked children.
I mean, yeah.
Look at
that
it.
was
Who's that in the background?
I was
I
about
don't
to say. That's the witch coming for her stuff.
Yeah.
She just parked her K car.
Yeah.
Yeah, her Mary Kay car.
Uh-oh.
And of course,
Oh man. Oh no.
is a word used by witches down
You
through
thought
the
Star
centuries to
Wars
describe
was
the
gonna
power
get
they
by?
receive from Satan.
I think not.
Characters like Darth Vader, who look almost exactly like the ancient Norse god Odin, and Obi-Wan
And he's a bad
Kenobi,
guy.
witchcraft,
Odin.
Obi witchcraft.
Yeah.
Odin.
Thor's father looks like Darth Vader. What the fuck is this?
You didn't know that?
The witch's lies.
You're saying that
No, I'm saying like
you're taking this
what the hell's he talking about?
who look very much like
It
him.
looks a lot like
Oh,
He
I'll say
knows
Dominic
exactly
Moore.
what this guy looks like too.
And look at that Norse god. But we
You
can't
can
go back
tell
to
this
that.
is just for the people who are clueless about anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is
God.
for the
This is
grandmothers.
Yep.
Yoda's reaction to watching these idiots.
We have this here from Phil Phillips. Funny Dushan mentioned that because I'm not allowed within 200 feet of any schools.
Yeah, look at the serpent on his neck there.
Well, Phil,
Oh,
since
this
you're with us, do you
building
drink
girl.
your own pee?
I got my.
Yeah, Phil, do you drink your own
Well, we thought
piss?
we'd show that
Let us know.
because a lot of the girls are now getting in on the action. What do we have here?
All those girls are getting in on my witchcraft, man.
Power Man and Son of Satan.
Son of Satan. Now they're getting kind of blatant.
Dude, I am. When I redo like the
I was gonna wonder if they like went more into the comic.
I'm
book.
kind of
Oh,
surprised
yeah,
they
'cause
didn't
they-
touch on this
comics
before.
got really
Yeah.
dark.
They should have led with this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
This makes
They
more
should have
sense.
led with this.
Yeah, a comic that's called Son of Satan. Okay, I can't really argue on that one there, Phil. You know,
How did Marvel even get away with that?
I have no idea, dude. I really don't.
See the direction that
And he shows up and like he's in like Marvel team up. He's
cultic look, hasn't he?
Yeah,
Oh, here you go, John.
Oh,
All right,
no.
let- yeah, let's all be
Dark
quiet. Let's all be quiet while they shit on John's favorite property.
Things like that within G.I. Joe.
Sort of a futuristic look as we see on this figure on
our monitor here, he's taking on the look of the future soldier, so to speak.
Very much.
And a lot of the
I'm
movies
not a
are
future
depicting that too.
soldier.
I see a real trend toward what I call the barbarization of our children, where through
Hold on.
through
He's
violent
just
movies and
pulling
violent
shit out
cartoons,
of his
they're
ass.
teaching
The
us
barbarization
that the way to
of our
handle
children. Yeah.
problems is through violence.
And now, also the violence is helping sell.
It's
Put it on the cereal box.
Dude, what country are you in? You're in
What are you
America.
talking
It's
What we're
like
concerned about is not selling cereal.
like
though. We're
violence is
concerned
part of your
about the
DNA.
trend towards teaching the children to have violent attitudes.
Oh yes, and we see things such as flat.
You know, it's not just being
Yeah,
a
I see that
kid.
cereal box.
It's not being a kid and watching your dad beat up your mom that made you violent.
No,
It's these
no.
cartoons.
Yeah.
Remember
Eating cereal, turn your piss red and shit like that. You know,
they're
that's
complaining about sanitized violence.
Yeah.
yeah. And you know,
This is-
Excuse
It's not even real violence. It's the let me shoot the rock that hits the tree that knocks the guy out of the airplane.
yeah, I'm curious. These guys have not once mentioned Bugs Bunny playing Russian roulette with Yosemite Sam,
Yeah,
or
yep.
any of that stuff. All the stuff these guys watched when they were kids. Obviously, how come they're not going after that? Like dropping animals on your head.
Smurfs.
Oh, look at this.
Here's the
Speaking of
Smurfs.
real devil worship,
Yep.
I would love to see a parody of this.
Of dead creatures.
Right. Another thing is that
Oh, they're
Smurfs is an
dead?
all-male
Right, I
community.
got it.
These are
I'll
all
play
the
Phil
Smurfettes.
Phillips,
She's a
and
female.
John, we can
Well,
put a little
one
shitty
cartoon
mustache on
is
him, and we can
depicted
just
as
sit
Yeah.
there.
transforming from
And
a
then
male
Tyler
to
will
a
be the
female
guy that
through
just walks
magical
back and
powers.
forth past the
And
Look at
window.
the wig.
female
Yeah.
in the Smurfs is
And then we'll have
transformed from a
Joe
male
come
who was
by
not
and like
born a
smack
female.
up a
Now, what
sign
you're
that's
telling
like,
me then
you
is
know,
that even
will
Smurfs carry a
something
homosexual
for food,
connotation
whatever it may be.
in that most of them are male.
I believe so.
But we're not going to blatantly say that Smurfs are evil. We're just saying that they have all of these overtones that are leading that direction.
Well, let's take another look
what
at
that? What a
Wow.
I
yeah.
can't. With
Whoa,
that.
hold on there.
storyline.
Because Papa Smurf's a
The
wizard.
Smurfs get in trouble. And every time they get in trouble, they run to Papa Smurf, who whips up a spell or an incantation to get them out. In fact, he said the name Beelzebub numerous times in the cartoon. And he whips up this spell or incantation and draws
And he's
them
like,
out
and
of their
don't even
problem.
get me started
Yeah,
about
and then they
Vanity
have an enemy
Smurf.
called Gargamel.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
Gargamel, in a recent episode, I saw him draw a 5-pointed star, the pentagram, on the ground.
Right.
He lit
Because
candles
he's
at
a
each point,
male
which
witch.
is an actual witchcraft
He's a
practice.
villain.
He started to
Because he's
dance
going to do
inside
black
the
magic.
pentagram, chanting a magical chant.
Yeah, he's
At
lost
that
on the whole
point, a book
concept that
opened
there
up
are
across
evil
the
characters,
room,
but these
and
characters are
something
warding
left the
off
book
the
and
evil.
entered his physical
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Yeah.
Like
Like,
when you
These
have-
characters can't
levitate
also
and
be
to
evil
do
if they're
battle
fighting
against
evil
the
and they are
Smurfs.
the
And why
good.
aren't all
we
stars
can say
5
that
pointed
Smurfs
anyway?
have gone occultic.
Very much so.
no.
Well, how about
Not
that?
all.
No.
Just like
Not-
the Care Bears.
You
Are
have
very
6 and
popular.
7 and
Well,
8
Yeah.
pointed stars.
Very popular.
And they're all
Okay, I
used
guess
in
Four?
witchcraft.
I just
Four?
thought like the traditional
And they're
star
all
was.
used in witchcraft and the occult, so I don't know why just the 5-pointed star is considered evil.
Well, yeah, I thought like your traditional star was 5
Yeah,
pointed.
traditional
Yeah,
star,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
so I'm like, okay.
You mean like the ones on the American flag?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wonder Woman shorts.
I'm like, okay. So, but they
Captain
always want to
America?
emphasize. Yeah. So therefore, if it's 5 point, I guess Captain America, the American flag are all signs of devil worship.
And see, look at that, man. You're
I
an
mean,
expert
I'm
now.
only going by what this virgin's saying here. So
Well,
You can pick up anything with their logic and find
yeah,
something
you can
evil
pick
in it.
apart anything if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Anything.
but just knowing how, you know, if these guys pull this shit today,
Cyclone here, you know, like in ancient times, there was an evil god who could control the winds, and I feel like Cyclone's just like the reincarnation of that guy
yeah.
there. So he's like influencing kids to
Oh.
worship this ancient god from this unknown territory.
Oh, wait, yeah.
look what I found. I found a 5 pointed star in my room.
Oh
here.
my gosh, you see the occult is all around us.
Oh my God! I'm going to hell. I'm going to hell. I'm going to hell.
Oh no,
Oh,
I'm summoning
he's heavy
demons!
cleaning.
I'm so
He's
many-
possessed. He's spitting up pea soup all over the place here.
He's about to puke.
Let's
Uh,
I'm gonna turn this off after this and get to a little bit of the articles, and we'll take the questions and wrap it up, because Tyler doesn't have to go to bed as early as he usually does. But this is what I like the most about this. They spend an hour and 22 minutes telling you how evil shit is. Now it's like, buy
Family
my
and
tapes.
friends. Evil powers are trying to brainwash this generation of children, but the truth will set them free.
The truth will set them free.
Let's pray
Grief.
churches across the nation will rise up and expose this deception of a generation. Today's interview includes materials taken and now offered in
There it
printed
is.
messages.
Can we still
Buy
buy
it.
this shit?
Fucking shit.
How much are those worth?
Sparing your child.
Let's look on eBay.
Someone
Oh,
eBay
yeah,
it.
yeah, let's look them up on
No,
eBay right
wait,
now.
Take the price
third
and
cassette
put
is
it
titled
into the
Dungeons and
conversion
Dragons by Gary
calculator to see
Greenwald.
how much it is in today's
As a
money.
bonus, the
Yeah.
Eagle's Nest is including the book Breaking Spiritual Dullness and
Dude,
Burying
if you
Children.
went to like
An
a yard
outstanding
sale and you
expose
saw
of
those,
many
would
of
you
the
buy
evil
them?
deceptions
Yeah.
being perpetrated
Yeah,
on
that'd
young
be such.
people today.
That'd be
Oh,
a-
I found an actual
You'll also
VHS of
receive
it.
Phil Phillips'
Oh my
newspaper
gosh.
titled
How
Child
much is
is
it?
it?
updating you on the
$20.
latest occultic attacks on your children.
I'm kind of
Any
tempted to
bits or
buy it just
anything?
to have
Oh
it.
wait, this might be homemade. Never mind.
Probably.
Yeah.
Request the child deception offer
Yep.
and send any donation of
Any donation of
$15
$15 or more,
The
so you
Eagle's
can.
Nest.
It's up to you.
That was a lot of money
Donate
back in
60
Child
Yeah.
deception offer. I love
There's a real one
Again,
with the
request
original.
child deception
Well,
offer and
yeah, with
send
the original case
$15
cover,
or more to
like $200.
the Eagle's Nest.
Oh, it's
200 doesn't have
not
any
worth
bits
that
in it.
much.
$15 minimum.
92704.
Yeah.
May the Lord bless you and your stand for righteousness.
So much for any
Now
donation.
back to Gary Greenwald
Yeah.
and Phil Phillips.
Yeah. What if you're like Joe Martin? Like, I can only give you $1.
God won't accept that.
I'm curious what channel this aired on back
Wait
in
a
the
minute,
80s. 'Cause,
isn't
you know,
this a moment ago about the ESP? Isn't that sacrilegious?
mm-hmm.
So why are they promoting it?
Hey man, you can't.
Because they
question
can
these things.
cherry pick what they want.
What do you
It's
do?
evil. Unless they make money off of it, it's evil.
I wish we could come up with like a T-shirt making fun of these assholes. Like it's
Oh,
something
that'd
we
be
could,
great.
you know. I don't know if
I
what
mean,
we could come up with.
What do you think the heavy metal shirts are for?
Oh god. Yeah, somebody needs to turn them into demons. Like color one of their skin like blue, and then give the other one horns.
All right.
Oh yeah.
It's all up to you. If you guys can make one with the mustache guy with horns coming out and put that on a shirt, I will buy it and wear it.
And you got to color his eyes like red or some shit.
Yeah,
like that,
make
too.
his eyes.
Oh.
Yeah.
These are some materials that Dushan sent me.
Yeah, from the congressional hearings about the violence in cartoons. There's I think there's more of it in those PDF files that I sent you.
Yeah,
These
and
are
I'll,
just small samples.
I'll probably search more for some of that. What was this here that you were sending me?
Oh yeah, that's the ratings chart.
Okay, so He-Man is all right.
This is 87.
Yeah, May 87, it's doing a 4.9, so it's middle. You see the drop off from May 86, it was doing 8.5. Man,
Jeez.
so you could clearly tell there.
Yeah, that was
Jet-
that was the end of the year.
Jetsons.
This is just
And it was the reruns.
Jeez, I can't believe. And Smurfs has been on the air for several years at this point, and still topping the ratings.
Look at Bionic 6. Bionic 6 made it. It's down
What?
at the bottom.
It's,
but it
it's
made
above
it.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And remember,
Go
Smurfs are still making new episodes.
Shit,
That's great.
and Silverhawks is in there. She-Ra's in there. Ghostbusters. The Pink Panther is just Inhumanoids. Transformers. I can't believe Transformers, like, you know, even though this is right after the movie came out in '87, like
we had a drop here. It's at 5.5 in '87, but it was at an 8.3 in '86.
And look at Thundercats came out in '85. Here it is in '87. It's in the top 5.
Yeah, but it still had
it was wrapping up right then.
It had a drop.
I guess it dropped off because in '86 it was 8.9.
Yeah, which is the highest rated one.
It was higher than He-Man.
Yeah, but it's tied with She-Ra.
She-Ra
at that time. Yeah, that's crazy.
And then Inhumanoids was 7.0. So I guess for its G.I. Joe was 7.8. Man,
It's interesting stuff.
This is very interesting to see. I can't believe Ghostbusters came out in '87.
What's most puzzling for me is that Jetsons are right on the top.
That shocks the hell out of me.
They got a new series at that time.
Yes,
I
I
thought.
know, but still,
It wasn't
in
the
the
reruns?
1960s. In the 1960s, they had like just one season, but apparently it kept on having huge ratings. And then in the 80s, they made more episodes.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
because I
didn't
only
know
saw the
that.
hand up. Like, I only saw the original runs. The only thing I ever saw.
Yeah.
No, they a lot of
Well,
those.
I didn't know the difference. I didn't realize that there was a break between them making them.
Yeah, me neither.
A lot of the '60s stuff they started bringing back in the '80s. You know, you always have that
Josie
20.
and the Pussycats and
Yep.
Scooby-Doo.
You always have that 20-year nostalgia gap. So
Yeah.
that's why they're like, oh.
This is
Also, the Jetsons have the honor of being the first digital ink and painted cartoon in the 80s.
Mm.
This is the petition to explain this one to me, Dushin.
In some parts of the country, they took He-Man off the air after complaints about the violence. So parents gathered around, petitioned to bring back the show on air.
All right, so it
To
says
bring
here,
it back.
yeah,
Yeah.
It happened in Abilene, Texas, and it stirred this reaction. And here are some quotes: "A significant crisis, a disaster for our household. Children are crying all over town. They were just devastated. Single-handedly destroyed our 4-year-old son's afternoon. My own children feel I am punishing them. My child cried all afternoon when she found out," which, hey, that's interesting. Female kid, there's an example of watching He-Man. "It has been the talk of every grade school mom and dad for the last 3 days. What triggered hundreds of irate letters with typical comments such as these: a 1,400 signature petition, front page stories, columns in local newspapers, thousands of phone calls, a mother's march, and an eventual about face to remedy the situation. The dropping by station KTXS TV of the #1 children's program in America, He-Man and the Master Universe. But thanks to the unprecedented protest, this is bigger than you and me," said the station program manager, Sylvia Holmes. Here's the rest of it. Even bigger than
Classic Coke.
Yep.
So this was when New Coke was a thing and people lost shit over it, right?
Yep.
He-Man is returning to the air in Abilene. It's really not just a few mothers who talked about it and got mad, Miss Holmes said. We have a 350 signature petition from Harmon Simmons University students. Holy shit.
God. Now, how come they don't emphasize stories like this about the impact that He-Man had on children in the 80s and that parents were, like this incident here of like fighting to get it put back on the air after it was pulled? Like that's something I'd never heard of that story before, and I think it's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah. I do kind of wonder if there were maybe smaller ones that attempted to do the same thing when they were pulled and were unsuccessful, or if it's a thing that I don't know, because times were different then. If something happened like that now, I think it would catch fire. It's like, we have to bring it back. But obviously, the consumption of television is vastly different now.
Well, and knowing back then too, the only way you could get any message heard is you had to write letters or take your ass there.
Yep. Yeah.
Like it ain't social media and shit like that. Well, phone calls, of course. But still,
you had to actually do shit in person and not just hide behind a random
your fucking
username.
Twitter account and like, this and that.
Right.
Yeah. If you want to change, you actually had to physically do it.
Do you think this was Texas, of course?
Yeah.
Was He-Man pulled because the Satanic Panic, or was it pulled because of the violence?
Violence.
But so this is the very same parents that are saying that, oh, He-Man's too violent, or this modern cartoon's too violent. Meanwhile, Wile E. Coyote's trying to push a boulder off a cliff to crush a roadrunner.
Yeah,
Right.
but see, they watched that as a kid and they loved it. You can't,
or
and that was okay. Or Three Stooges when they're sitting there taking hacksaws to Curly's
to
head.
each other's head, or poking each other in the eye, or whatnot.
That's
fine.
on regular
But
cable
He-Man
TV to
wasn't
watch.
violent.
You
Or
never
Tom
actually-
and Jerry with like
using axes and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like Itchy and Scratchy wasn't far from the truth. On the sense of what they were parroting.
And there's the complaints about these being toy commercials. Meanwhile, the kids shows that they watched, the ones with the clowns and such presenters, those also peddled advertised products.
Yeah,
But
there was
when
that,
they-
yeah,
and when
it was
the
bought by
act-
Colgate or whatever.
Yeah,
The whole programming was paid for by
And
a
when-
particular company.
and
you know?
when act ensued that forbid them to advertise,
Yep.
one by one fell down.
Man. So, it's when you
It's
start
hypocritical.
and when you start
It's
bringing in
very
those
hypocritical.
those other factors of companies being involved, there's so much other shit. I can't even. Well, I can't imagine it. That probably went on like just crooked shit too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It goes on to say, if nothing else, we learned that you can't fool with mothers in the big country. You don't mess with Texas. Rixie Holtz, one of the leaders of the drive to get He-Man back on the air, was quoted in the Abilene Reporter News as saying that the power of the show is that it is a learning cartoon. It shows good. It shows bad, she commented. And it has a moral. Oh, gee, it's almost like, it's at the end of the fucking episode. He-Man doesn't fight unless he has to, and he never kills. He honors his word, and every story has a moral. One moral was to own up to what you
somebody
did.
actually watched the show.
Yeah. Another was to listen to parents. It's something good you can talk to your kids about. Various letters to the situation cited similar reasons. Please give them, the children, back their heroes, their rest time, and some plain decent entertainment they are entitled to. A positive influence on my boys. Kept my children entertained and helped them relax. We need all the positive influence possible to shape young minds and values. He does not get up from the chair until it is over. I enjoy it because of the morals at the end of the cartoon. It may be a cartoon, but there's a moral to the story. The children really love to watch He-Man. I have watched it and consider it a good source of knowledge for children. Teaches the child something worth knowing. So, hey, there's some brains. Brains did prevail.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I wish they'd prevail at Mattel today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing as we've always had fables. We've always had stories. That was what we call Greek mythology would be the same as what people are pulling out of the Bible today and saying, "Oh, you need to live by the good book." You're using these stories as an example of what to do and what not to do.
Mm.
Okay, take all that and just apply it to cartoons, to Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Narnia, whatever. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
There's lessons to be learned there.
Well,
right, wrong, good, evil.
Well, it's funny too that you bring up the Greek mythology, because there was a point in time where people believed that all of these gods existed, and now people look at it mythology and they look at it and they laugh at it. And I'm like, well, then what makes that any different from Christianity to me? And that was always something I always played in my mind when talking about the youth groups that would get together. It's like, hey, I want you to join us, be one of us. I'm like, no, like, and when you ask people,
I mean, like, when the point of Christianity was to counter all those religions that were more abusive, because it was more about demanding the gifts, the sacrifice.
Yeah.
That's what Christianity was supposed to counter and replace, and to move humanity forward, because it was actually a progressive movement. But then, the Middle Ages ensued, and it just got stuck in time.
Yeah.
All thanks to grifters like these two from the video that we just saw.
And I kind of wonder, during that time when Christianity started to take off, if there was like a separate sector that was like, this is evil. What are you guys doing? This is how it's been for blah, blah, blah. And now you're like,
But there was, because remember, they were being literally killed by the Romans.
Yeah.
The sad thing was, it wasn't too long after Christianity became the more dominant religion that, like, the Library of Alexandria was destroyed by Christians. Why? Because it was the typical book burning. There's pagan writings in here. There's all that kind of stuff. It's like, anything to an extreme is bad, and that's always the case where it's the new thing and they look at anything that came before it and they're like, well, I'm going to discount that.
Yeah. And also you can't discredit the whole thing of how many wars, how many people have died just because of the difference in belief. You know,
but again, I can remember that to push wars, you are going to push anything that fuels the people. So be it religion or be it, oh look, the Chinese, they're sending the balloons.
Hey, Nathan, behind you.
Spying on us.
Oh, hey.
Sorry.
The demon that's coming after me, it's reaching for me.
Sorry.
There you go. You're doomed. Doomed.
She's going to bring me that devil juice. Rebecca, I'm sure you've probably seen it in the chat. You guys are friends with him. I'm going to put it up anyway. Havoc staff. Rebecca, which of your boobs is the evil one?
It's double trouble.
Right. It's double trouble. They're both trouble.
I don't know how to segue from that one. I just figure I'm like, yeah, he probably.
Let's talk about Tyler's boobs.
Let's talk about what?
Tyler's boobs.
Tyler's boobs.
Yeah.
Oh, my boobs.
Tyler, which of your boobs is the evil one?
I have
He
has pecs, damn it.
Yeah.
That's what he told the kids when he was drawing them as kids. They're not boobs, they're pecs.
They're pecs. Yeah. He's on titties. Ah.
I mean, even Johnny, I'll get in on this. Nathan, which of your nuts is the evil one? Definitely the left one, I think. It's always hanging a little bit lower, trying to. Because
welcome to podcast about He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
Yeah.
Yes.
The gravity is just pulling it to hell. I'll switch over to these are two books. One is the commercialization of children's television, and then the other one is children's television programming, and this still has to do with like the hearings. So I'll share these, and I've searched here, so I'll probably have to keep going back for it. I'm just looking up the word masters to see when Master Universe was brought up. So I'm sorry I can't make that any bigger for the viewers at home. If I could just take a minute to describe what I see as having happened. In 1983, He-Man and Master Universe, He-Man and Master Universe came on the scene. They had money from Mattel behind it. It got good station clearances because it had that money behind it, and everybody saw this as the latest way to make money in the marketplace. So everyone rushed in and quickly as possible created animation to go along with their toy lines. If you know anything about the creative process, you cannot speed animation up to the degree that this phenomenon created. I am personally concerned about the phenomenon that Nickelodeon is creating in the marketplace right now with Double Dare. Double Dare has been the biggest hit in the syndication marketplace since DuckTales premiered. I am concerned that we saw at the NATPE conference many copycat shows of Double Dare. We spent 2 years researching and developing and fine-tuning Double Dare to make sure that it was a show appealing and right for kids. I'm concerned that the Me Tooism and this looks like another good way to make money in the marketplace will shorten the process, which I do not believe can be shortened effectively. What was all of this stuff about, Dushan?
Well, the title of the book says it all about commercialism. I can't pronounce the word.
You can't say it.
Commercialism.
Yes, children's programming.
All right, now say it with feeling, Deucin.
Commercialism. Fuck.
Commercialism. Fuck. There's the line we got to use from here on. Fuck.
Dude, I love your accent, by the way.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, thanks.
Love it. No, I do. I love it.
Oh man, it's like I click on these and click on the thing and then try to hit back to go back to the search, and it won't let me.
And now you're on the porn tab.
Yeah.
the porn. Did you say the porn tab?
No, the porn tab.
We're gonna just start hearing noises.
The porn supremacy.
I thought it was like a knockoff of Pornhub, the porn tub.
So
when was that article or that book written that you were just reading from? It's referencing DuckTales and Double Dare. So what was that, late, like 89, 90?
I would probably say 88, probably. Because Double Dare came on the air, I think, in '87. I think.
I
think
it says here because all right, so the commercialization of children's television hearings before the subcommittee on the telecommunications and finance of the Committee on the Energy and the Commerce House of Representative 100 Congress. And the dates that are marked on these is September 15th, 1987 and March 17th, 1988. Wow.
Okay.
The stamp here from the University of California Riverside Library is July 8th, 1988. See, I'll probably just show the stuff in this one, and then I would say this now. If you guys got questions in the chat, go ahead and put those in there. We'll go ahead and take a couple of them and wrap it up because, 2.5 hours.
There's a part in one of these books where they make a huge fuss about horde troopers getting killed because
They're
they keep
robots.
arguing that they're living beings.
They're
even though
robots.
they're robots.
That's why they made
Yeah,
them, so that she
yeah,
could beat the
that's-
shit out of them.
It gets countered by saying that they're robots, but then they bring up how they react like real people.
I'm going to try to find
It's
it.
a cartoon.
Oh, that one doesn't have.
But that issue still exists today. Like you'll see stuff like let's say the Star Wars prequels, where it's let's not have our good guys kill a bunch of living beings. They're gonna go cut
Kill
some
clones.
droids in half. Yeah,
Yeah, or
So
Yeah.
I feel like everybody has a list, or like, okay, well, zombies are okay, robots are okay. It's like all these things that, like, yeah, that's okay to kill those things. Like, your good guys can kill that all day long, but it better not be anything that we can, like, even aliens. That's fine too. It's not a human.
I'm just curious what the hell these people really want kids to sit down and watch. I mean, is it strictly you want them to watch nothing but the fucking Flintstones and Tom and Jerry? Well, not even Tom and Jerry. Like, I can't imagine or Sesame Street. Is it, all children are allowed to watch is Sesame Street?
I mean,
like, that's it?
Well, isn't that kind of how in the 90s and 2000s is there was that whole thing with VeggieTales? It's like, watch this instead,
Which I'm like,
yeah,
oh my god! Like, not only does it look terrible, I'm like, I don't want to watch fucking talking vegetables. It had nothing to do with. It was just. Oh
They
my
literally
god!
They literally want to turn kids into drooling morons. They don't have a critical thought in their brains.
Yeah, it's like you don't want them
And
to have
also-
options, make decisions for themselves, learn from mistakes, and like John said
Yeah.
too, like do you not want them to watch or read classic fairy tales like Jack and the Beanstalk, Three Little Pigs, like bad, good and evil? Like, are you saying you don't want kids to think that there is real good and evil out there? Like, there are no consequences, that there are no ways of going about things in a more adult, productive, mature manner? Like, no, you just live in a fucking plastic bubble.
Which
And see, the thing about the consequences is that's the whole downside of the extreme sanitization of violence in cartoons, because they couldn't show the negative effects of violence. So if a kid mimics some action, of course they're gonna be more inclined to do it because what bad could happen? They're not being shown the bad side of violence on TV, so they could do it. And also, like, now we can see the result of all that sanitization in that all bunch of people from our generations are now geared to hyper violent stuff on TV, on streaming. They all demand stuff to be extremely violent. Even He-Man, they want blood, they want people to get their heads chopped off, and it's just they've gone from one extreme to the other.
Mm-hmm.
All
And
because
I
they
think all.
get uncensored stuff. They couldn't get not that they should have made gory stuff in the old cartoons, but everything within the reason, so that you get the healthy amount of violence, so you can see why this and that action is bad, why this has to be done, etc. And now we have a bunch of people who are just fucked up in the brain.
Well, I think what that kind of boils down to as well is one of the biggest thing that I always thought about, especially when it came to like Beavis and Butthead, going back to that when we were kids and people were making a big stink about it. It's the parents' responsibility.
Yes.
They want it to just be automatic. It's like, I want to sit my kid down in front of the TV and do something else and not have to worry about it. But they have to take the responsibility to know what their kid is consuming. And not only that, have that healthy relationship. I had that with my parents. You know, you have the way I feel like it's supposed to work is when you're watching something like that. If it is maybe a smidge too violent or a smidge too scary, having that parent there to tell you and try to explain to you, these are the differences here. This isn't real. This is, you know, and if you don't have that, then you got nothing.
The parents need to be the bookends to everything the child does. It needs to start with them, and it needs to end with the parents.
But they don't want to do that.
No. My dad told me, like, when my dad was a kid in the 50s, they heard stories of idiot kids jumping off the roof because they watched Superman. You know, they watched like the live action
George Reeves show, and
and they're like, "Oh, I'm going to jump off the roof. He can fly. I can fly."
And
It's
you
like
get stories about Tarzan.
yes, same.
Yeah,
exactly. It's the Darwin Awards, survival of the fittest in some cases, but it's going to happen. But again, where's the parent who says like, "No, you can't do that." You know?
Yeah,
like, are you?
They would rather just
Krypton?
bitch about it and not take responsibility.
and take it out on like, you know, it's like if some kid watches Joe Amata drink a full bottle of Alfredo sauce, like, you know, they don't want to say that. No, son, that's not very healthy and not safe to do that. No, they're going to come after Joe for like being a moron, drinking the whole damn thing. Even when we told him you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
You know,
but Dad,
he does
I want
it anyway.
to eat a cockroach.
Yeah, he wants to eat, you know, bug ass. Like no one told him to do it, but he insists on eating the ass end of a bug. I don't know. Maybe Jenny gets off from watching Joe eat that kind of shit.
He wants to belch Alfredo sauce.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey, I set my kid down to watch your show, and now they're saying fuck all the time, and they're going trying to eat my underwears. Like,
And they keep talking about the bird word's penis.
Oh man, I couldn't find that Horde Trooper deal. Like I tried searching it in the general thing.
Check those excerpts that I sent you.
Oh, that's hilarious.
but no, what you're saying, John, about like parenting, parents actually being parents. That's the problem. If your kid's sitting there being like, "Mom, God's not masters of the universe. He-Man is." That's your job to turn. If you believe that and you don't want your kid to believe that, then you be the one to turn around and be like, "Oh no, honey, God is." Well, and explain it to them. Don't complain to your fucking TV.
Yeah, but the
your
funny
local
thing is,
Phil Phillips.
Yeah.
You can still sit there and say, okay, yeah, He-Man's master of the universe, but who created the universe? God. So who's more powerful, He-Man or God? Done.
I still say it's a kid. A kid is not that in tune with that kind of stuff, and nor are they interested in learning. It's just, I if I was a kid and I heard that,
Let's say that story actually happened, and like some kid actually said that, which we know they did.
Look, the most rational action in that situation is to press the gas to the max and slam into the wall and saying, well, kid, we're going to go to God and ask.
Well, yeah, because this was the 80s, so you know that there weren't no car seats.
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
Really? They didn't have car seats in the 80s?
Oh, God, no.
I mean, they did.
Well, no,
but
technically they did because my brother came home in one. So.
It wasn't enforced, or they would do the shit where the car seat is in the front of the vehicle or like on the dashboard.
It was car seats were for babies, like baby
I don't
babies.
remember sitting in one. I don't
then,
recall.
Yeah, once you're like pretty much over 2 or 3, it's just like, oh yeah, you roll around in the back.
Because in the 90s, we had like the stickers that said, "Oh, if you're
baby on board,
if you're under 4'10", then you need to sit in a seat." And my family always made fun of me for like you're 4'10", you gotta sit in a seat. I'm like, fuck off.
I imagine, does John still make you sit in the seat when you guys go grocery shopping and stuff like that?
She's got her own seat for when she drives.
Yeah, it's so short. I have to sit on a little booster seat so I can use it.
That's adorable.
It is adorable. Imagine like John puts her like in the back seat of the car, and she sits in the back.
No,
with,
John
like,
goes to drive the
Yeah,
car,
her
and
legs
he's
are just
like,
kicking.
if I don't,
Yeah, she has like an all-day sucker in her hand, and she's got, like, her
It's
hair
funny. So like when we're sitting there
Yeah.
and she's driving, she's like way up here. Like if she's driving and I'm sitting next to her, I'm like, hey, how's it going over there?
Oh yeah, it's just because she's Here's a question. Yeah, it's a question. It's not formed as there's no question mark in it, but it's phrased as a question. This comes from Paulrick. Does Tyler think Snake Man in Arms is satanic?
No, I think it's the idea of Satan because it's such a shitty idea. Scott and I think he went to the Church of Satan there, so he came up with he pushed getting that piece of shit idea.
Scott and I like a Scooby Doo villain just takes it off and reveals himself to be Satan.
Yeah. It was Scott and I all along.
You mean the alien from V?
It's from V,
Yes.
exactly. Like,
his face
peels away.
Yeah,
He's a lizard man.
Yeah, it's just such a stupid idea. Like, why Scott just thought like, this is brilliant. I can get over on the company of just recycling the same fucking figure again. But I love the idea. We could put it in the comic books. It'd be great.
What disappoints me is why did that stick? Why
I don't get it.
Mondo come out with like a Snake Man arms of all the things? Like, why did that stick?
Well, because you have Snake Man, Man at Arms, Snake Man at Arms. It's clever.
It's like poetry.
Get the hell out of here, Joe.
Yeah,
I know you did it in quotations, but still, get out.
Yeah, but I'm
just like going to explode.
Yeah, I know. Look at that. Look at that.
He's like hurting. It's hurting me.
It's painful for him just to even use his words.
You guys don't fucking get it. It was a shitty episode. Like when Tila and Mech and Manos all turned into a fucking snake. By the end of the episode,
Yeah, but you're just a hater blinded by nostalgia.
Oh yeah, I'm a man child, and I need to grow up. It's not
not a man child, a man baby.
God, and all those assholes that subscribe to all that bullshit and still think the bios were so fucking brilliant, and it's because.
You can't accept anything new. Just admit it.
Why don't you let people enjoy?
I can accept new good stuff, but unfortunately, they don't like to write any good stuff that's new.
All right, Tyler, what do you think about Masters of the Universe Origins?
Again, they don't make any good new stuff.
Later.
Look, I'm sorry that you decided to be a traitor, jump ship, and buy the fucking He-Man Skeletor because you had him when you were a kid. You know what? If I'd have known that, I'd have. I don't know. Maybe I could pull a Joe Amado and stole some classics from somebody.
Because the postage is insane.
I still would have kept you from having to buy these pieces of shit. And why did you do it, man? You of all people, Deuce, and you have been coming out left and right and saying. They're pieces of shit. They look like fucking cavemen.
I didn't buy the initial versions. I bought the ones.
I don't care. You're still supporting the line. You have been side by side with me denouncing all this Billy Jack bullshit. These assholes keep cranking out.
I didn't buy any.
You didn't have to buy. Why couldn't you just
he
buy?
He sounds like he's
figure?
Smiling on the other end. I can just.
Oh, I'm sure he's doing this just to get me worked the fuck up.
Yeah, we're gonna find out he didn't actually buy anything. He
didn't. Would it make you feel better if he stole them?
No.
Oh.
No. I know.
I does that just to piss me off.
Exactly. Everyone that just does shit to piss me off anyway. I guarantee that's what PowerCon. It's going to be nothing but people pissing me off the entire time.
That'd be great. I'll be laughing at every bit of that.
That's what's going to happen. Everyone's going to be laughing at me the whole time.
In to take him out.
You're going to need a whole fucking army to take me out. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, all right, sure.
Yeah.
This question
I'll be like Sean Penn and Mystic River, I got 15 guys trying to hold me down on the ground.
You watched Mystic River? I'm kind of surprised you did.
One time, because Matt and Jordan were like, you got to watch it. You got to watch it.
Dude, that's so depressing.
Yeah,
it was okay. It was just like, It was fine, but I have no desire to see it again.
Yeah, I don't think that's something I'd come back to. This question comes from Johnny Cock. Each of you gets to be a fake televangelist. What's your preacher name, and what's the name of your ministry? What scandal does each of you get shut down for?
I think Joe's already beat us to that already. He's already got his own ministry and a cult going on. And people
what's gonna bring him down though?
I don't think he could really do anything to be, scandalous because we've all exposed him for what he is, and people still giving him money and stuff.
Yeah,
So
that's true. He just keeps on rolling.
I mean, Jenny could walk in catching him, on a fucking jar of mayonnaise or something like that.
Embezzling from his own food bank.
Yeah, yeah. Joe's like this, with his long golden hair and looking homeless.
But it's not embezzling in the sense that like he's taking any sort of money. It's just he's eating all the food that was meant to go to other less fortunate people.
Yeah, and when he means less fortunate, he means him.
Yeah,
he's always.
You put Joe in any situation,
he really does. I mean, Joe is like the definitive puzzle piece. I don't care what kind of puzzle it is. You put Joe in, it's complete. Yeah. But I could picture Joe a collection plate. Donate to the food pantry. He's back there eating all the food in the pantry.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's going to the homeless. I'm homeless.
He's like, I was checking the expiration date. This is about to expire.
Yeah. This goes bad tomorrow. Somebody's got to eat it.
Who's the guy who would eat the food to make sure it wasn't poison?
The food taster?
The food taster, yeah. I just be a food taster. Make sure.
I'm surprised Joe doesn't do that as a professional, like a professional food taster.
Yeah, they have people that do that. They have people that try wines for other people that drink the wine.
Jesus.
Yeah, Joe could have like a bucket he spits his food in. Like people who taste wine, shit like that.
And then he takes.
Need more butter on my ham.
And then he takes the bucket and just re-eats what he spit into.
Ew.
Yeah. Just like that skit in Jackass where the guy throws up and then cooks it.
That's like Fugly.com from like 1998.
That one.
You didn't see that one, John? You got to make sure she sees the omelet vomit. The vomit omelet.
No, I could not.
Yeah,
what kind of entertainment are you consuming?
You didn't see this, Deucin? Because you're too busy buying shitty Origin figures. That's why
I have a better taste.
He's a man of taste.
I guess he's a man of taste. I'm a caveman. Hey, call me a caveman. Call me a caveman, Deucin.
You're a caveman.
He's trying to do Marlon Brando as Deucin.
It sounds like it.
It's his impression of your shitty impression of Marlon Brando.
Nobody can talk like Marlon Brando.
Yeah, you suck.
You can eat my ass. In fact, you can put butter on my ass.
You're terrible.
This question comes from Philippe. Did you all see Creed 3? Badass film. It's
no,
funny.
But I plan to see it in theaters.
It's funny that you mentioned that because
can't be worse than Ant-Man.
Oh God, it's a low bar.
I'm so glad I did not watch Ant-Man after seeing it. Jesus Christ.
I talked with Tyler.
Naked Modok.
No, not that again.
Little butt cheek.
I talked with Tyler about Creed 3 last night because I got in the mood to watch Rocky movies. So I watched Rocky 1 through 3 and then Creed 3 opened this weekend. I told Tyler when I was close to the theater yesterday, I looked up showtimes, the closest one to me, and I looked on Fandango, saw how many seats were sold out. I'm like, I can't do it. I'm like, I know I'm going to go. There's going to be some fucking asshole that's going to piss me off. I'm going to have to tell him to shut the fuck up. And it's going to take me out of the viewing experience. So I'm just going to wait a week or two, let it blow over a little bit to where the attendance won't be so high. Because that's the only way I can do it now, I think.
Same.
Yeah, you just can't. Tyler, how soon are you going to try to go see it?
I'd like to in the next couple of weeks. Like within the month, I guess.
You should be able to. I mean, there's a ton of stuff coming out. Like March is insane. There's like another John Wick movie coming out. Creed just came out.
Holy shit! I forgot John Wick 4's coming out.
Yeah, there's like 5
I've never seen one John Wick
notable movies coming out.
Watch the first John Wick.
With her?
Come on, John. You're dropping the ball, man.
Or is John like not interested in John Wick?
Have you seen?
I haven't seen any of the John Wick.
Come on.
This is
what
why I
is
married
wrong
him.
with you people?
I haven't either.
Forever.
It looks like you guys.
Why
why
are you people here?
All right. Well, yep. Well, just do that.
All right. Well, back to the spinner rack.
All right. Yep. Welcome to the spinner rack. Actually, welcome to it now for something different. Where Tyler and I right now we're going to spend the next 2 hours. We're gonna tier list the Rocky movies. We're going to tier list John Wick movies,
and everything else in between, and talk about why Origin sucks balls. And if you buy it, Well, then you're drinking the Kool-Aid too. So
Well, if you buy it,
well-
you're just French, and the French are assholes, and we all know.
yeah,
that.
and you're gonna go to hell, and we're gonna save your souls.
All right, I'll bring.
Okay, they can come back and play
bring it.
now.
Oh, we
yeah,
can
I'll
come
bring
back now.
Yeah, you can come. Watch the John Wick movies. You do at least the first one. You owe it to yourself.
I didn't
to
know
watch
there
the
were
first
so
one.
many. There was one that came out a while ago, and they were like, "Oh, this is like the third one." I'm like, "There's more of these movies." I never
Well,
heard of it until like a couple years ago.
Who moved the rock then? Where you been hiding? Both of you. And Deucin too. What are you in Yugoslavia? They don't have John Wick in Yugoslavia? Hey, I'm talking to you.
We did, but I wasn't interested.
Why?
But who stars in it? Keanu Reeves?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Eh.
Nah.
I think you're better than.
He's
think
a
he's better than
caricature
Keanu
of
Reeves.
himself.
Yeah, but
What?
see, it's the best of Keanu Reeves. It takes
That and Point Break.
yes, it takes the
That and
best
Point
of him
Break.
as an
Whoa.
actor.
Yeah.
He doesn't say
He doesn't do that in Point Break. You know damn well, John.
his dialogue.
The FBI's gonna teach me to surf.
But this CGI
You know,
his
get the hell
body
out of
next
here.
to
Just
his
Nathan,
scenes.
get him out of here.
I-
All of them.
I can't do it again, man.
God,
Just watch the first. I think you'll actually enjoy it. His dialogue is minimal. He's quiet.
He's got a
and-
CGI body.
What?
Does he?
No.
Are you talking
Yeah.
about? Are you talking about the Matrix? Because that's all I can
No,
think
no,
of.
no,
too.
no, John
Well,
Wick.
fuck the
because
Matrix.
He can't do all those stunts because he has to be all supernatural and stuff to move lightning fast. They CGI all that.
No.
He's
No.
a floating
Cut.
head. I mean, like, what are we supposed to watch? Keanu Reeves floating head on a CGI abomination? It's an offense to God.
You can't.
You know what? You're an offense to me. I want you out of here.
You can't say these things until you've watched it, sir.
I don't know.
If
That's
I see it streaming somewhere, I might try and watch
Let
it.
me ask you about that kind of
Possibly.
argument, because when people sit there and give me shit because I'll knock like a shitty Mark Wahlberg movie or fucking Will Ferrell movie, like, yeah, since you can't like it, and I'm thinking like, okay, have you assholes seen, I don't know, Empire Strikes Back? No. Well, why not? Well, I like sci-fi movies. Well, fuck you then.
I mean,
You
in
know.
fairness, they can see the proper version of Empire Strikes Back.
Well, nobody can now because they made sure that it's
If you
unless you
got
bought
the,
it.
if you got that.
On the contrary, because if
bonus
you're on the
DVD.
torrents, you can pirate the fan-made
That's what John
film
has.
transfer.
Well, but I bought the
Rebecca,
second
come on,
version of
man.
I bought
He's
the
a pirate. That's why I love him. He's a pirate.
No. I
He's
bought
a
the
scoundrel.
latest version that came with the DVD. I watched that version. The original
This
version
one is
on
better
DVD.
because it's the actual theatrical print of the movie.
Well,
Yeah,
And
you
you
uh,
get every audio mix that was ever released.
Do you happen to have those?
yeah.
Maybe.
All right, we'll talk about
Would you
it
be
later.
willing to send them over here to the States and we will compensate you?
I'm not going to compensate him. You send me that shit for free.
Well, he's bitching about the posters to get to Yugoslavia, so I'm assuming we got to help him out there that way.
I don't know.
No, you're going to have to download like 40 gigabytes.
I'm fine.
Well,
with that.
Nathan, you know what gigabytes
Yeah,
are. Give him
yeah,
some gigabytes.
You know what
Yeah,
gigabytes
of course, Tyler is very stupid when it comes.
You know
to
what them gigabytes are.
I don't pretend to be. I'm very simple, when it comes to this kind of stuff. I don't know why I always scratch my head as if
I
if
don't
you're
know
simple, you
either.
scratch your head a lot.
Like a
Jack
monkey.
Dave, man.
Yeah, there you go. I act like a monkey because I'm simple. I'm simple Jack, or something
You're-
like that. Hell, I don't know.
I don't know. He's like, it's getting late. Here's a
Yeah.
question from Oliver. If you had any extra vintage carded 80 toys that you've had for many years and you found out its current high monetary value, what would you do? Keep it sealed? Open it? Sell it? I guess
I
it
would
would
never open it. Never
I
open
mean,
it.
I mean,
yeah,
if
I would
it,
just keep it until I don't know.
Yep.
yeah, you saying extra implies that I already have another, so I would leave
Oh.
it carded. If I didn't have that and I just had it carded, it depends. I'm not a big men on card guy anymore. Like, to tie it back into last week's episode, I've been buying Bionic 6.
Open it,
and-
open it.
well, no, I already did.
Wait.
Was the
Oh
thing.
no!
I want them in the best possible shape because they're. If you find them loose, it's hard to
I
get
know,
'em.
and I know why he did this too. So
Not beat the shit, but I got Mental
Mother-
card hell, and I opened her up because
she's on the foreign card.
Yay!
oh well, yeah, this is the Canadian card. Let me actually. There we go. You see the Zelles, if it'll focus, the Zelles sticker. Come on, damn it! There we go for $5.49 Canadian.
Ah.
And you see,
Look, Tyler, it's your favorite character, Mechanic.
I love Mechanic.
Do the voice.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, what you
I didn't tell you to do the penguin's voice. Do the Mechanic.
I didn't do the penguin. What are you talking about?
John
Just a
was
moment
doing
ago.
scared.
I was doing
John-
Scarab. Scarab.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that wasn't John. That was Tyler. I heard him.
I didn't do that. Jerk off.
Yes, you did.
Oh,
Everyone
gee,
heard
Doug.
it.
Oh, I keep scratching my head.
Yeah, I don't know why you're doing that.
It's like it's a nervous tick.
I mean, Mechanic would probably do that
I
Yes.
guess he probably would.
because he's.
Oh, gee, Dr. Scarab, I'd love to see the man in the moon. Please, can I, Dr. Scarab?
I have lice.
Uh-huh. I don't have lice, Scarab.
That was okay.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Welcome to Fans of Power Community Theater.
Yeah, I still say Val's gonna let us do we could do like
Yeah,
me and Rebecca do like
go ahead and talk
like
about go ahead and talk about this because you posted it in a group that we have with them and you pitched this idea.
Oh, well, no, actually, he's like, no way in hell you guys are doing something like that about like doing like an impression. But I was like, you know, maybe me and Rebecca could do like Hannibal Lecter, and we could do Silence of the Lambs. She could be Jodie Foster. I could be Hannibal Lecter. It'll be awesome. We have like special effects and everything.
Special effects.
And John can handle the special effects and then do sound editing and all that stuff. And
Look,
you know,
community theater. There we go.
yeah, it just
Whose stuff just
you know.
fell?
Huh?
Whose stuff just fell?
That
Yeah,
was mine. That was mine.
Ah, now you're being plagued by the demons.
Oh,
Yeah,
it
all
was
of our
that
shit's
cyclone.
falling.
I told you I was summoning
Yeah.
demons with my cyclone figure and my sexy Xena. It's her fault.
Yeah, it's all her
Those
fault.
titties.
Those titties hanging out, making the demons come out like in at the end of Ghost, where they take
Oh,
that,
yeah.
they
Oh,
take that guy.
That
the-
scared
the
me when I was
shadows.
a kid.
It
Yeah, that
scared
was
me
pretty
too.
scary. Yeah, that was pretty creepy.
Yeah, because you're watching that movie and you're like, oh man, she's sitting
They're
behind.
making pottery and shit.
They're making pottery and it's fucking sexy. It's like, oh, here's these shadow demons all of a
Oh,
sudden.
I love in movies and cartoons where like they make the shadows come alive.
Yeah.
And then it just creeps right back to where the shadow was. So at like in Ghost, where it comes out of the gutters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And like the sound effect and everything was really good, and really creepy.
Whoopi Goldberg's best role. I would
No,
say.
next to Fatal Beauty. I like Fatal Beauty a lot.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Yeah. But I don't like Demi Moore with that boy haircut. It's no good.
Yeah.
It doesn't work for me.
She needs the long hair like
She needs at least the hair that she had in Few Good Men. At least give me that, but not the Wilson Phillips hairdo.
Yeah, that
Scratch
didn't
me
look good.
again.
Yeah.
good reference there, man.
Things will go your way.
Yeah.
Say goodbye. Yeah. Yeah, I knew that would get him. I
love when Nathan starts singing like it makes. I'll hear like a shitty pop song playing. I immediately think, what would Nathan be doing right now if he was hearing this? And of course, Nathan would be doing that.
You know what I thought about the other day, actually? Just let the love flow. Target.
You gotta snap your fingers there when you do it.
Yeah. John,
Yeah.
you guys remember those shitty kiosks that like Target and Walmart would have, where it would be like the CD sampler and you could push a button and it would play a sample
Oh
from the
god,
song?
yeah.
Jesus.
We go into Target all the time, and it's just like, what do they got? And you play, it's like, just let the love flow, and I'd be like, yeah. And I would just start taking off down the aisle.
But it's like we couldn't do anything until we walked by the kiosk. Nathan hits it. And it
Every
delays.
fucking week.
Yeah,
every
and then Nathan
week.
starts dancing right there in the store in front of everybody. That was back when Nathan could just start breakdancing like Michael Jackson, like anywhere and everywhere.
If we get some tunes going at PowerCon, do they have is there any kind of music that ever just plays randomly at all? Just as white noise while people are walking around or anything like that?
No.
I mean, did they play it into like Good Charlotte or anything like that?
Yeah,
Or?
no,
No,
they're not do that. Come on, Tyler. Good Charlotte fucking sucks, and we all know
I
that.
know, but you need to say it with a lot of intensity, like you told my brother that one time when we were shopping for toys in Walmart.
Yeah.
Good Charlotte fucking sucks.
I thought it was in Spencer's looking at the posters, and we were
I
flipping
could
through
have
them.
swore we were walking to Walmart in Roanoke in the parking lot, and he just mentioned our cousin Winston, like Good Charlotte. Like, Good Charlotte fucking sucks.
Yeah, it's like
And he
I
said
wasn't paying attention to any other conversation. I just tuned in on that, and I was like, wait, what? What? No.
Yeah, and he just went right after it. Like, I don't care who you are or who liked it. Like, it fucking sucks. You know how I am about He-Man. Nathan's like that about music. He just and wrestling. Like
and now not so much. Wrestling is still a bigger of the like. What are they doing? Oh, that sucks. But that's a different thing.
But it's fun to get him worked up, and then he throws taco salads on the ground, shit like
pisses on the floor. Throws a hamburger against the fucking outside window of a Burger King.
Falls back like fucking Nolan Ryan.
Yeah, man. Hey, you got to wind up for that pitch, man. You want to make sure the maximum velocity splattage. You want it to hit in a way that they're going to fucking know that they messed up. Here's a question from Papa Huds, and we've talked about this before. I kind of want to get John's perspective on it. Speaking of satanic cartoons, what's all of your take on that HBO Velma show? I watched 5 seconds of it. And I'm like, no, the first line of dialogue, I'm like, I can't do this. It's not worth my time, and I just walked away. That's all we need. Do it again. No.
So there's a show that I really like called The Venture Brothers.
Yeah, that's a good show. I like that.
It parodies everything in pop culture. If you can name it, from the Legion of Doom to Johnny Quest to just all of pop culture.
Music video, just anything.
Music videos, 80s stuff. Like, you need to have real knowledge of everything that's transpired the past 50 years. But they did their own cynical take on Mystery Inc., where you have your Freddy and your Shaggy and this and that. And it was, when it came out, it was hilarious because it was they went for the whole lesbian angle. They made fun of all that stuff, and this was years ago. This was 15 years ago they did this.
Above all is that what they did were approximation of those characters. They didn't do Freddy.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. So this guy looks like
when they spoofed to Johnny Quest, they actually used Johnny Quest and Ray Bannon, and that didn't work. But the Scooby-Doo one worked.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Exactly.
I still want to watch that Scooby-Doo Zombie Island movie. I got intrigued when Dushan was talking about it and how
you should absolutely.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things, so I need to just bite the bullet and just buy that digitally. Here's a comment from JSP, which is going to be a funny thing. The Raid movie's really good. Wish they'd come out with the Raid 3. I love the Raid movies. I like part 2 a lot, and that was a great theater experience for me. It's a long movie, but I just love the story that's told. I actually got them for Tyler. I don't think he's ever watched them.
No,
is that a Steven Seagal movie?
No, it's not a Steven Seagal movie. Holy shit! No, it's I can't remember the country of origin, but the fight scenes in it is the biggest selling point to these movies. They're so.
Chuck Norris?
No, it's not Chuck Norris. I'll send you a trailer or find some fight scenes. Cat's kicking your ass, John.
Going crazy.
Duncan knows, John.
Cats serve the demons and witches.
Oh yeah, they're possessed by demons now. That's what's going on. Here's a comment. Speaking of Whoopi Goldberg from earlier, don't forget Sister Act 1 and 2. Those are actually pretty good movies.
Yeah. I only saw part of the first one, and that was it.
What about the Jumping Jack Flash?
Or Burglar?
Yep.
Or the Associate, or Eddie. I used to watch Eddie a lot when she coached the Knicks.
What's the
dinosaur movie?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the one with the fucking dinosaur?
That movie's a piece of shit. Theodore Rex. I remember thinking that was gonna be awesome. What a shitty movie that was.
What about Made in America with her and Ted Danson when they
were dating?
Yeah. Oh God.
He donates your sperm.
Danson.
Got that Duchan as an international treasure. I agree. Yep. I like having him on.
Yes.
He may be French and an asshole, but he's a treasure.
Watch the behind the scenes stuff for John Wick, and you will know
Right.
that it's not CGI, dude.
No, it really is CGI. But you see in the behind the scenes stuff is his stunt double. They look alike.
Actually, one of his stunt doubles actually worked at the gym I go to.
So they did like what they did with Natalie Portman and the Black Swan, and then they
Yeah,
they
That
tried
movie's
to
a piece
sell
of
it.
shit too.
They tried to sell it as like, look, Natalie Portman learned ballet in a month, and it's like, no, she didn't, motherfuckers. You've CGI'd her face on a ballerina.
Yeah, exactly.
And she turned
Except
into a
with-
fucking black swan halfway through. What a stupid ass movie that was.
Except with John Wick, it's a CGI body.
If you
It's
watch
all
the
fake.
movie, I think you guys will like it if you watch it. It's kick.
Oh my god.
It's such a good movie.
Especially if you love animals.
Yeah.
Aw.
Shrek is a good movie.
If
What?
you love animals.
Wait. Hang on, what?
What did he say?
He said Shrek is a good movie.
Fuck you. And fuck Shrek. Fuck all the Shrek movies.
Yeah, I can't sit through those.
Shrek
either.
is life.
Oh my god. Shitty CGI. Nothing but shitty Matrix references and stuff like that. And fuck those movies.
Hey, at least Shrek isn't portrayed by a floating head of Keanu Reeves.
Actually, you know what Dushan's voice actually reminds me of is the comic dog from Conan.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
oh yeah.
The insult
Yeah.
dog. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the cigar in his mouth. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of.
God,
Yes,
that cracked
yeah.
me up as a kid.
Yeah, I like when
God.
they go to the what was it, Attack of the Clones premiere.
Oh
live.
god.
Fucking
I
ripping.
know what
it
you're
up.
talking about.
JSP says the raid movies are Indonesian. Yeah, there we go. You got just watch those alone for the fight scenes. But part 2, I just like the story of it. There's just something about it. There's some movies, like Dushan is with Shrek. There's just some things that draw you in. And you're
I'm sure they're good. I just
the magnetism to Shrek.
never watched them.
Yes, Shrek movies are very good.
Sure.
What a dork.
I can't. Well, that's the thing too. I feel like he's not being serious, but then there is that part of me.
Oh no,
what
no.
if he
I'm
is?
sure he's bullshitting about the Shrek movies, but he's being serious about Keanu Reeves. Like he really feels like it's a floating head, but he's saying Shrek is great.
Look how it moves.
He's just making this shit up. He's just.
I don't.
Rewatch the movies. You're seeing.
Listen, he broke character. He broke character when the minute he laughed. He's done. He's
Because
over.
I can't believe that you can't believe. It's so obvious.
He's got a big smile on his face right now as he's saying. I can hear him smiling right now. He's smiling.
Because
can
you're
hear
so
him smiling.
blind.
See, he's still smiling. He's probably got the biggest smile right now ever.
How could you not notice that it's a CGI body?
See, like he's so
try
fucking fake right
the
now.
insult comic dog.
That's who it is.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's Deucin. Yeah.
Trump?
No, Triumph.
Trump?
Triumph?
Yeah.
What's Triumph?
I'll send you a link to it. Yeah. Would you like a definition?
There, I broke him.
What's Triumph? Is he asking like what the dog is or what the word triumph means?
I don't know.
I
do-
know,
what do you
I
mean?
watched Conan.
The barbarian?
Leon. No,
You-
Conan the librarian.
Oh, kind of,
Oh yeah, you
This
would-
don't
Don't
tell
you
him
know
what to
your
do.
Dewey Decimal System?
Ah,
good movie.
good reference there.
Fuck man, should I just go ahead and wrap this up? You guys want to keep going? Or you want me to wrap it up?
I'm gonna have, even though like I don't have to get up
Yeah, I
as
need to
I
go.
still got to get
All
to
right.
bed at a
Yeah,
decent
John's
time.
like, I need to go
Yeah.
to sleep. You
Yeah.
fuckers said 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
He's dozing off. All right. Well, we'll leave it at that. I hope everyone enjoyed. I'm going to say, like a semi-serious discussion on something that's kind of heavy. It's something I don't think this podcast has ever really sort of explored before. We've never really we've talked about it in bits, but it's not something we just really just latched into and just kind of had a round table about religion in a way. That shit's kind of heavy.
And I don't think we pissed off people in the chat room. I think
No,
we
I
probably-
didn't see anything, and I want to actually thank them because I know with something of that magnitude, it
Wait,
has a
I'm looking at the chat right now and they're all calling you to be crucified.
Who, Tyler?
Yeah, they're saying crucified.
Oh, well, that's
monk.
every week though. You know, I'm they're always up in arms about me pissing all over
They're hush
Well,
puppies.
now they seem
Yeah, the
extra
hush puppies.
pissed off. Also,
The
they agree
revelation
that
or their-
it's the CGI body.
I honestly, I think the most offensive thing is Dushan saying that Shrek is a great movie. So that may have been the most.
You
offensive.
just
it was
just
pretty
not
much just
intelligent enough
dismisses
to
all of it.
appreciate it.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll give it another 20
It's a
years
very
to come back to it.
sophisticated humor.
Oh yeah, it's
What? Are you-
all the donkey fart stuff was. You know,
It's a metaphor.
yeah, it's a metaphor.
Oh, look, he's trying. A donkey fart is a metaphor. What the fuck are you talking about? man?
Yeah.
Your art, you don't get it.
I don't want to get it. It's a donkey fucking farting. and
Hey,
he's
don't make
smiling
fun
really
of it.
big.
Hey, don't make fun
It's
of
a
him.
metaphor. I'm not. It's not my fault that you're stupid.
It's fucking awesome. I love it. All right, we'll go ahead and wrap it up on that. We hope you guys enjoyed
Thank
this
God.
continuously long episode. These things just keep getting longer and longer.
Wait, just a second. He just spoke Lord's name in vain.
Oh,
You're
I
not
did
gonna
not say
get
speak the
it. You're
Lord. I
going
said
to
thank
hell.
God. I said thank God.
Yeah, you spoke in vain.
That's not speaking in vain.
No, I
Yes,
thought
it
you
is.
said
Ninth
in
circle of
Wayne
hell.
earlier.
No.
Going down,
Circle of
Tyler.
hell.
What?
Peas and
Right
carrots.
among the popes.
Cheese and
Uh,
rice.
uh,
All right.
What? You never read Dante's Inferno?
No, I don't read. Read makes me
He doesn't know
intimidates
how.
me.
you and
doesn't
John.
know.
Yeah, John.
It reminds
you'll
me how
have
dumb I
plenty
am.
of time in hell to read.
that's gonna be your job.
Well, I have eternity, so I guess I might as well do something. I guess, right?
Yep.
Yep. On that note, we
He
hope
never shuts up.
We hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you're new
By
to
the
the
way, movie
channel,
quote.
what?
You forgot the movie quote.
Have you,
what are you
hang on a
guys doing?
second.
John needs to go to sleep. Look at his face, man. He's getting sadder by the minute. Let's
Plus,
just
not to
let the man
mention,
go
I
to
always
sleep.
do the movie quote at the tail end, not while Nathan's talking or while Joe's talking. Have you not
Hurry up,
watched
he's
the
going
show?
to fall asleep.
I'm trying to. You keep interrupting me.
Not you, Tyler.
Me? I
but
wasn't saying anything. You interrupted Nathan to get the fucking movie quote.
All
Have
right.
you? Where have you been when we do this podcast?
John
I
is
mean,
going to fall
you're
asleep
always
any
working
moment
around in
now.
the shadows, saying we're doing this wrong and you
Time
got
is
that
of
wrong.
the essence.
Time is fleeting, dust in the wind, and all that shit. I hope everyone enjoyed this episode. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like, subscribe, and always ring that bell so you get notified when we go live. And until
Like,
next
subscribe,
time,
share. Go, Tyler, go.
have a powerful day.
Better not be from John Wick.
No, I'm not going to do that.
No. Fuck
No,
that.
Do
it's
something with
two
Satan.
people.
Yeah, do something Satan related.
Oh, Satan.
Oh wait, no,
All right,
Hey, no,
give me-
no, because if
You're
you're
pressuring
saying
him.
Satan related, I know what he's going to go to. Keanu Reeves,
Focus, Tyler, focus.
Satan. He's going to go with Al Pacino.
Would you just give me one hot minute here? Everyone,
All right.
How about that movie with Robert De Niro where he played Satan?
Angel Heart? I haven't seen that movie.
Oh,
yeah,
Angel
what's
Heart,
something
yeah.
for that?
With what's her face, and Bill Cosby got pissed off because she like showed her tits and was like, "You're part of a family show," and then
Oh, Lisa
and then he
Bonet.
went and drugged up more women and raped. them.
Like he was fucking one to talk.
Yeah, hypocrite.
It's
So
always the
rape
people
aside-
who are like, "Oh no,
Yeah,
you
no,
better
yeah.
not." It's always those
Yeah.
motherfuckers.
Welcome to fans of Cosby.
No,
Next, we're doing a commentary for Ghost Dad next week.
no one here is a fan of Cosby. I do
I'm
not.
sure John
condone
saw
that.
it in
We're
theater.
going to do Meteor Man.
Meteor Man.
All right, yeah, Meteor
God.
Man as opposed to Ghost Dad. All right,
Okay,
come
film
on.
quote, film
Oh,
quote.
all right, shut the fuck up.
Focus.
Focus. Good. Little Nicky.
Shrek.
Hurry up!
If I offended you, then I am sorry.
No, you didn't. What are you talking about? Get
That's
the
the
movie quote.
That's the quote. You jerk off.
The quote is your jerk off.
No, I'm calling you a jerk off. Now you're quoting me. And
So
I
the
know
answer is
Rebecca.
Tyler
John,
Baker.
huh? Everyone here has seen this movie that I just quoted.
What's the quote?
If I offended you,
Then I am sorry.
For
Yeah,
what?
it does know.
That's the quote.
What's the quote?
He's trying to do some Abbott and Costello shit right now. That's
Yeah,
what
or
I'm
some
doing.
Monty Python bullshit.
Yeah.
That's not funny.
I don't know what it is.
I don't know either.
If I offended you, I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah,
no,
it
yeah,
sounds so
it's the
fucking
tone.
funny.
It's if I offended you, then I am sorry.
But wait, John just told you that
Indiana
his
Jones
story
and Temple of Doom. Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom.
Oh man.
Oh shit! Me and John were not just watching that, but we were watching a video on it. I didn't know that movie got so much hate.
Once again,
know,
quoting the
something we
worst
have to-
one.
All right, Rebecca, John, see,
Temple
we're
of
gonna have
Doom's
to
the
just
worst
tag team
one.
on these
I'm
assholes.
sorry.
I love that
of
movie.
the three, I
watched
mean,
that
I'm
more
not.
than
Crystal
any other
Skull
Indiana
doesn't count.
Jones movie that I was a kid.
No, Temple of Doom is superior over Raiders of the Lost Ark. I don't give a shit what people think about that statement because it is.
I wouldn't know.
It is so much more
Because-
badass.
Last Crusade, Raiders, then Temple of Doom.
No.
If you think Temple of Doom is bad, wait till you see the new one.
Oh
Oh
god.
boy.
I'm not.
Oh, that's gonna be a piece of shit, and I know it's gonna be.
I'll watch it on Disney Plus when it comes out.
Boy. I'm not watching it.
I'm not either.
I'll
I'd rather
watch
go.
Temple
I'd rather
of Doom
watch
again.
Shrek with Deucin.
Yes, enjoy the sophisticated
Next
humor.
week, we're
You can
we
look for
review.
the
Yeah.
metaphors in the parks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it's all about
Oh, I
life.
get it. I'm like Homer Simpson reading Crack Magazine, and almighty Aller. Oh, I get it.
You'll experience like that moment in Blues Brothers. You'll see the
I've
light.
only seen parts of that. I wasn't too impressed by Blues Brothers
You
from what
didn't
little I
see
saw.
Blues Brothers, what's wrong with you?
Well, you didn't see John Wick, asshole. So
But
Hey, I've
look,
seen
Blues
Animal-
Brothers
I've seen
doesn't have
Animal
any
House.
CGI.
Babe, did you just have a power surge down there?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really fast.
Oh, what you got like storms going on or something?
I don't know.
Huh?
No, it was just a little power surge. I didn't know if it was just
You had a
here.
power
The
surge.
demons.
Oh, after all this
Oh
scene.
God, I gotta bury
All
this
right,
scene.
right. I'm out. I gotta bow out here. I can't.
All
I
these
can't linger
devil
around.
toys.
Let's wave. I'll play.
Yeah.
I'll play the clip. We'll end it. Here we go.
Yeah, but it was great. It was fun, and I'll see you all on my balls.
We need to get that clip of Joe
Power
throwing up in front of
Christ
Dolph.
compels you.
The power of Grayskull compels you.